It's Friday. It's happy hour. Armando, do you have a cocktail? Brandon Pajemski, how you doing? Oh, the season is back, brother. We're talking hoops. We're not talking contracts. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, man. The first preseason game is Sunday. We got a little Kuminga to talk about because he met the press. We got the schedule to discuss because that is fascinating in and of itself when it comes to the Golden State Warriors. And again, the action starts Sunday. The professor Armando Lara and yours truly are breaking it down. Happy Friday, everybody. This is the Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. Leave me alone this summer.
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Clean up that open. Welcome to the Golden Days. Look at Evan, in our chat, Evanistics more specifically, not claiming first, but claiming what today's show is all about. Happy hour. It's Friday. The week is over. Another Armando, you're literally a professor at UC Berkeley, and you teach sociology. I know your focus, your more specific subject matter that you teach and research is economics. Sociologically, when did the whole 5-day work week bullshit start? Like, do you know what the history of Monday through Friday even is? Like, who came up with this ridiculousness? Do you know? And how are you doing? You're muted. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. There we go.
You're good now. You're good. All good.
No, I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I do know that we could all use a 4-day work week. Yeah.
Yes. I think we all can use a 10 hour a week work week, which is what some geniuses from centuries ago came up with. Brilliant individuals who actually foreshadowed automation creeping into society and how we can adjust to that. That is the plan. I hope, if the ruling class doesn't keep screwing everyone else over, that's the plan, is eventually get to a work week that's 10 hours so that Waymo and other automation can take care of society and life and all the mundane crap. We're not there yet, though. We still got to do the 40-plus hour a week bullshit. And hopefully Armando Lara and yours truly can entertain you a little bit. You can follow Armando Lara on Threads at Mando_man10. You write a column on Substack called Sprewell Was Right. Even if you're not publishing anything new lately, I don't know if you have been, just having a column with that name will suffice. That's all we need. And you also teach at UC Berkeley, as we just mentioned a moment ago. Are you anything new on Sprewell Was Right before we get things really going here?
No, we are full steam ahead trying to figure out infrastructure to do our streaming, where we're going to watch games this year once a week. We're going to be drinking wine and rewinding every defensive breakdown to show you exactly the way we watch these games and just ripping on what's going on all year long. We're going to be doing it. So
I love it. And Sprewell Was Right again is the home base for that, where you and at least one of your cousins, right? You're going to be doing coverage during games. Are you using playback?
Yep.
Awesome.
It'll be good. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And we'll promote that here heavily. And this Sunday, I cannot believe, is the start of the season. Warriors preseason action. We're going to break that down and so much more. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Threads and Instagram, at Dog Wild, on Twitter, at Surf Journalist, the program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. And we are presented by FanDuel, the official sports book of the Believe Network and this program, Golden Days. Armando, on today's show, what we're going to be talking about primarily is the schedule. The Warriors have a shitload of back-to-backs, and those are going to play a big part for this team. The oldest team in the NBA, yes, is the Golden State Warriors, but they also have a good chunk of the roster comprised of young pieces whose role is going to be pivotal for those back-to-backs. But I want to start the show off, if you don't mind. And again, welcome everybody who's in the chat. The audience is on fire. I love it already. Bad Hombre in the chat, mentioning, saying he took one for the team, calling 95.7 the game. And the Emperor. Is the Emperor wearing clothes tonight, Armando? As you got Palpatine in the background.
I'm coming for you guys. You got. I noticed last 3 days there's been a lot of positivity about the Warriors doing well this year. So you guys are here for happy hour on Friday night. This is Dark City's time, man. I'm coming for you guys.
You're bringing it down. You're bringing all the pipes down. I love it. Bad Hombre was calling the Warriors flagship station, I guess, to make a point that Andrew Wiggins did not play the 2-guard position. I don't know what the whole story is behind there, but yeah, apparently there's a debate going on about Wiggins and whether or not he was ever utilized properly under Steve Kerr. I don't remember him ever, with the exception of 2 games to start last year, playing his natural position, the 2, for a brief moment. In case you folks forgot, the Warriors, it might have been the first 3 games of last season, they actually was a 4. So Armando's holding 4 fingers up of the Warriors actually going with a traditional lineup where Kuminga was starting at the 3. You had Dre at the 4. Trace Jackson Davis was your starting 5. Wiggins was your 2, and Steph was 1. And the first
Kuminga.
I mentioned him, right? As the 3.
Yeah, this was twice.
Yeah. So Kuminga was at the 3, Wiggins at the 2. And then was it the 3rd game or 4th game when Steve Kerr was like, "Nah, I'm good with this"? When did he bail on it?
It was, they won the first 4 games by like 30 plus.
Yes.
And then they just went away from it because it didn't look smooth in the first quarters, basically, is why he didn't do it, even though they were destroying teams in the 3rd quarter. Like they would have won the championship if they had just stuck with that.
Pretty much crazy, man.
Ridiculous.
I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. And Steve Kerr, again, a few days ago brought up the fact that he may tinker continually with this lineup. Because Armando, real quickly, let's just start with this question for you, if you don't mind answering it. If Al Horford is not the starting center on opening night, what is going to be your reaction to that? Because I can already tell you I'm going to lose my shit. I mean, what's the point of getting Horford if he's not your starting 5? What would be your reaction to that?
I mean, he floated in his comments. We should bring up his comments, but they're very concerning. People are not reading closely. He basically said the Pod's Moody lineups were incredible last year, and so he wants to take a hard look at that. So, I
haven't played that soundbite on the show yet. Let's do that. I'm pulling this up really quickly. Should not be hard to find. I paraphrased his words on the last show. But this attribution, we just can't let it slip any further. He did, in fact, say this, referring to who's going to start on this team. Here's the clip. I see it right here. And Steve Kerr was asked about the starting 5, what to expect, and his answer was concerning. And again, I was trying to maintain positivity and not touch on this subject, but Armando, you've got the Palpatine energy going. We got Sith energy conflicting with the Force, and as a result, you get balance. I hope you Star Wars nerds are appreciating all this lingo right now. Here is Steve Kerr talking about what fans can expect in the starting lineup this upcoming season with a lot of new players.
Right. How do you view, I guess, the 2 starting jobs that aren't, your main 3 guys?
Yeah, I think the way I'm looking at it is, I mean, we kind of know the guys who are going to start for sure. You guys know who those guys are. And then we have to build around that. Do we want to?
Let's real quick before we continue on. Who do you think Steve Kerr's alluding to in terms of we all know who's starting? Because my guess is Steph is 1, right? Jimmy Butler's 2. So is Draymond a certainty at 3? Armando, your thoughts on who you think he's referencing more specifically here?
Yeah, definitely. It's those 3 he's talking about for sure.
So the question marks then is, okay, who starts hypothetically at just the other 2 positions, because in Steve Kerr's world, there are no set positions. GP2 can be a power forward. Moses Moody can be a power forward. Here's the rest of Kerr's comments.
Start big, have a traditional 5, or do we want to start like we did last year, Draymond at the 5, Moses and BP in the backcourt? That was a really successful lineup. So we could start that way if we wanted, and still not have to play Draymond heavy minutes at the 5. So it all depends on what the rotation pattern would look like. But that's kind of the key spot, right? Are we starting Draymond at the 4 or the 5, and then there's a domino effect from there.
Important to note as well, Draymond Green in his introductory press conference repeated what he said a million times, just like every other player has said a million times. They prefer playing their natural position, and Draymond was even more specific in terms of what that position is. He said very specifically the 4. Draymond Green likes to play power forward. Armando, your reaction to Steve Kerr not being committed to any starting lineup at this point, which is part of the problem from my perspective. You need consistency. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, guys. Who are the 5 highest paid players on this team?
Great question. You want me to answer that, or are you being rhetorical?
I know it's rhetorical. I know who it is, but does the chat know? Seriously, who are the 5 highest paid players on this team?
Well, I'll play along and represent the chat here. So Stephen Curry's 1, Jimmy Butler's 2. I think Draymond Green is 3. Jonathan Kuminga is now 4. Is the 5th Moses Moody?
It is.
Okay. Continue.
The way to win an NBA championship is to literally play the 5 highest paid players on this team together for heavy 30 minutes a game. That's it. They will win a lot of games. And literally any other coach in the entire league would play those 5 guys together. Like, I get the whole we need a center thing, but that's only because you're not playing wings. Draymond is the playoff god at 5. So let's not get it twisted. The front office has declared who are the 5 best players on this team. And
just chuckle at that
not
chat.
That complicated.
A money check up in our chat saying Nicholas Kerr is the highest paid assistant. I don't know if that's true, but that made me laugh, and it's making you laugh. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but we should also talk about the fact, it reached national media that Steve Kerr's on a 1-year contract, and they were trying to act like it's his doing. He's controlling the purse strings. No. And you all should get to know Nick Kerr, because he might be around for a little bit. So we'll see about that. Let's see how that goes. Yep.
Did you Nick Kerr has a Nicholas? Jeez, I just did that. Oh my God. Please forgive me for that. I don't have a dump button. I did not mean to say the N-word there. Oh my, I can't believe I pulled a faux pas. My apologies for that.
Sure.
Nicholas Kerr has Cal roots. Were you teaching there when he was, I believe, playing at Cal? Coaching at Cal? What was his role there? I forgot.
No, I did not have the pleasure of meeting Nick Kerr.
Nicholas.
Yeah.
Kerr.
Yeah. I wonder why he was named that. That's interesting.
Dude,
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Were you not thinking at all when you're naming your child? I love that Saturday Night Live mocked that, by the way, because that to me was the green light for us laughing at the pure lunacy of it. Yes, Saturday Night Live literally mocked Nicholas Kerr's name, and I'm sure you understand why. I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. I keep doing that. Forgive me.
No. So play the highest 5 players 30 minutes a game. Any other situation, any other alternative is the go home in a body bag plan 4.0. Like, we need to talk about this. Like, the wrong lessons were learned from last year. I've been talking about that for weeks, but everybody likes to. I just want to add one component to it. Everybody likes to talk about, if Steph Curry hadn't got hurt, they would have won that Minnesota game. I don't personally think so. The Minnesota series, I don't think so, but I think it's reasonable to think so. And even if they did, what do you think was going to happen in the next round? Like, that series was going 7 again. Like, would Draymond's back have exploded against the Thunder? Like, I mean, they're lucky they walked out with just a hamstring pull. So the go home in a body bag program is in full effect. Last year, let me add this to you. Do you remember what happened last year in the preseason? This is how we knew it was going to go wrong. Actually, Kuminga starting was a huge surprise that was announced the night before. But the entire preseason last year was the message out of Hawaii was, we are going to play fast and we're going to shoot a lot of threes, and we're going to play defense. And the media was like, oh, it's so good. Like, that's incredible. What great coaching. Man, shut up. That's literally every coach says that we're going to play faster and we're going to shoot more threes. And we knew that if the entire offense wasn't designed around Kuminga and Wiggins pick and rolls with Steph Curry saving his legs, that we were going to be in trouble. So you need to listen to what Kerr and his son, the junior, are saying in this preseason. It really does matter what the messaging is. What is it that they're focused on?
Hell yeah.
Is it playing the 5 best players together? The wings, a 7'2" Moses Moody at shooting guard? Is it that? Is it we need to give Kuminga a green light to shoot as many freaking threes as possible? Like, literally empower your player? Is it that? Or is it we need to figure out a way to get ball movement and chuck more threes? Is that what it is? So go home on a body bag program or play the 5 highest paid players on the team. A or B, choose your I'm not going to say no pill stuff because I don't believe in that, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do get what you're saying. And in the chat, Devin in limbo saying that we or I am the only one who has made that joke observation. Again, Saturday Night Live literally joked on it, touched on the topic during their weekend update segment with Colin Yost, Mr. Scarlett Johansson, and Michael Che. I hope I got the names correct. Yeah, this is not just a joke that we are cracking. This is a very well known, and it's befuddling because, again, I mean, do you not consider the fact that Nicholas, shortened by everybody, is Nick, and that your last name is Kerr, and that if you say those two things close together, that it sounds like a slur? And again, it's one of those things where no one's going to ask Steve Kerr in a press conference setting because of how awkward that is. It's just going to have to be someone who has enough cachet and who has enough gravitas, if you will, to pose that question to Steve to get the answer. Because I'm dying to know why they came up with it. I'm guessing Nicholas was probably the name of somebody's like parent, like a grandfather. But even still, like, so what? I mean, I imagine that kid got ridiculed. It's insane. We're not here to mock Nicholas Kerr's name, though. We're here to talk Warriors basketball and the Jonathan Kuminga standoff, which was absolutely torturous. Any final thoughts, by the way, Nicholas Kerr, Armando, before we shift gears?
He's a made man. He's a made man.
Yes,
I think y'all could look up about 6 episodes. I went on a rant on like what it means to hire your son on the coaching staff and what that represents. Like, man, can you imagine being a blue chip guy in the NBA and there's the coach's son is yelling at you to do something? Like, do you know how awkward that is? Like, are you allowed to yell at that coach back? Are you allowed to get in? Like, people fight in NBA locker rooms every year. Like, what does it mean for the coach to have his best friend and his son on the roster? Is that good business culture? I don't think so. Nope, it's not. So that is a huge red flag. That's like the most red flag thing I could possibly think of.
Yeah, agreed. And the best friend, in case people aren't familiar, is Bruce Frazier, who's Steve Kerr's best friend, literally. And now he has his son on the coaching staff as well. My fams in the chat adding, I wonder if Bob Fitzgerald will be careful with the name. I mean, look, Kevin Dana, a friend of the program, the voice of the Golden State Valkyries and the Santa Cruz Warriors, when he was calling Santa Cruz games last year, Nicholas Kerr was the head coach. And yes, he was very careful. I never once heard Nick. It was always Nicholas, head coach Nicholas Kerr. The whole thing is it's
one more thing, Si. I guarantee you, Marcus Thompson is going to have a piece talking about how how against the grain Nicholas Kerr thought process is and how he really pushes his father. And then his father's going to talk about how he's like his son is pushing him to think in new ways. Man, they're not doing shit, dude. They're not working on nothing, man. I guarantee you that piece is coming from Ramona Shelburne, somebody, dude. Like,
Shelburne's not a Kerr fan. I know you have some issues with her, and I get it, but I've never heard Shelburne take the Kerr fan route. Pretty much everybody else it does have a bias.
Someone's writing it, Si. Who is getting the Nicholas Kerr puff piece. Where is that coming from, man? It's coming. So who's gonna write it? I can't wait to read that. We're gonna replay this clip and we're gonna read that story.
Well, now again, this was a brutal offseason, and largely because of the Jonathan Kuminga standoff. That's resolved. The Warriors have now signed all the pieces for what we can expect for this upcoming season. And again, I am optimism abound is my mantra right now, man. I'm feeling so damn good about this Warriors team. I love the pieces that have been put together. You know, in my opinion, coaching is literally going to be the only thing that stands in the way. So this a title or bust, provided health abides, is going to be up to Steve Kerr. And again, if he wins a 5th championship, I'm never going to critique the guy again, man. This is now year 4 of this running line on this program, whether it's this current one or the last one I was hosting, where I said before, and I'll say again, get that 5th championship, justify Stephen Curry's greatness. Because again, Tim Duncan with 4 championships, Kobe Bryant with 4 championships, Magic Johnson with 4 championships. None of that sounds right. And Stephen Curry with 4, it just doesn't sit right with me, man. The guy he exudes greatness. He's one of the all-time greatest players in the history of this game. 4 is underselling who he is as a basketball player. So win 5. And again, Steve Kerr, you're in my good graces for the rest of eternity. I still will probably, in hindsight, when he's no longer coaching the team, I'm probably going to look back on his career in reverence. And I look forward to actually – you're shaking your – for the podcast audience, Armando Lara shaking his head as I said that. Take it away, sir. I'll stop talking.
Okay. Well, I didn't know we were going – I kind of knew it was coming, but I want you guys to stick around for when we go through the schedule. If you don't want to hear this stuff, even if you don't like my thoughts on Steve Kerr's legacy right now, let's talk. We're going to talk about the 82 game schedule in a minute. But I've been off Steve Kerr since they lost 3-1 in the finals. Like, that's where it started. This is not new. And obviously, you know, throwing out the ball with 4 Hall of Famers, you know, like you're telling me that Luke Walton couldn't have coached that team from 30-0 to a championship? I mean, it's like, this is a players league, dude. Like, don't get it twisted.
Yes, sir.
Draymond Green and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson won those titles. And and I do think another coach could have done it. And coaching ain't that important in the NBA, man. It's important when it's bad. But
it's not like the NFL. I feel like an NFL coach, that's an important position. They play a huge role in your team's success. I'm totally with you. In basketball, look, there's obvious exceptions, right? Phil Jackson, I thought, was a difference maker to a certain extent in terms of getting the most out of Michael Jordan and maximizing that team. But again, without that team, Phil ain't doing shit. And I agree with you, man. In the NBA, it's a players' league where if it comes down to difficult choices, where it's between a player and a coach, 99 out of 100 times, I'm going with the player. You can replace a coach very easily. Hard to replace talent in the NBA. Sorry if
hey, man, this is a championship roster with a play-in coaching. Like, that's a fact. And I mean, it's not a fact, it's an opinion. Sorry.
Right.
It's an opinion, but it's
an educated opinion.
And we should talk about why I think that is. You know, people are really excited the last few days with the Horford signing and the Melton signing, which they also kept secret that he's actually injured for months. Yeah. He's not even close to returning. So the near-death lineup is in full effect. The go home in a body bag plan. And the lesson of last year for the organization seems to be that they were close and that they just need to make the playoffs and they'll have a great shot at a title. And I cannot believe that my team, how wrong that is in terms of player evaluation, coaching evaluation. And Cy, like people ask me all the time when I get going on threads, like, why are you're such a hater? Like, are you even a fan of the team? It's like, okay, so if you're a fan of the team, you're not allowed to criticize your team. Like,
especially a coach, right? Especially a coach.
Dude, like, man, I want nothing more than Steph Curry to get a 5th ring. Like, that's what I want, because
Same.
in my opinion, he is the top 5 player of all time, in my humble opinion. And obviously that could be debatable, and you could probably at the worst top 10. But
Well, and Armando, just to add on to that, I think Steph right now is top 10. Like, we can go through the top 10. I have it memorized. I have Steph either 8 or 9 right now. That's what a 5th championship does to his legacy. It puts him in top 5. I think it even puts him on the Mount Rushmore, right? Jordan, Steph, LeBron, I guess, just to placate that whole fan base who worships him practically. And then your 4th can be what? Kareem, I guess, whoever you want. But Steph is on Mount Rushmore. That's the difference between a 4th and 5th championship, and why I personally care so much, Armando. So I'm with you.
Yeah, Steph changed the game, man. Steph is like he is one of the greatest players. I've been watching this game a long time, and I've watched a lot of old stuff. Like, I know the history of this league, and I think with another title, like, those bar arguments get a lot more interesting. Like, it is hard to argue he's only got 4, because now you're talking about you're dealing with Kobe fans, and you're dealing with Tim Duncan fans, like that kind of stuff. He's clearly better than those guys. So, like, the 5th title is needed. It's really needed. And that's why I really rip on what's going on, because he probably should have 6 without this coach. That's how much I feel about it. So when you talk about legacy and him getting a statue out there, I don't think so. Not in my book. Forget it, man. Those 4 titles were in spite of the coaching. That's how much I feel about it.
Armando, I'll even for the sake of argument to not sound as critical, I'll give Kerr credit for the first one in terms of just maximizing the potential of that team of Steph and Curry. Also, the fact that you and I are both old enough to remember decades of Warriors mediocrity. Mediocrity is actually putting it nicely. They were a downtrodden, miserable franchise. And so I will that first title, look, and we can agree to disagree if you don't agree, and that's fine. That's the beauty of sports. But I'll at least give Kirk credit for 15 and for making maybe the difference in culture and schematics. He brought in Ron Adams, who was grossly underrated as a coach back then. Ron Adams is now still with the team, but he doesn't travel. He doesn't sit on the bench most nights. But Ron Adams was a defensive savant, and he brought a beautiful game plan in to make the Warriors defense championship level. With that said, 15, fine. But a lot of coaches can win one championship and they're forgotten. To give Kerr credit for 17, for 18, I even debate people about 22. I don't think Kerr had anything to do with that. Steve Kerr was saying at the beginning of that season that he did not expect a championship and that winning it all surprised him. What kind of what verbiage is that from a head coach who won a championship? I didn't think we were going to do it. It surprised even me. Those were literally his words. And I don't look 2015 again. I will give him credit for that. Any coach is winning with Kevin Durant and Steph. Steph and Curry, to me, it's an insult to Steph to take credit away from him in 2022 and pretend Steve Kerr played a big role in that. That was Stephen Curry's greatness epitomized, in my opinion, in 2022. But that's just me.
Yeah, it's it's hard to argue with like the false positive, or the counterfactual, like the what could have happened. If they had stuck with that coach, they wouldn't have won that next year. But eventually, they would have figured out what the real innovation was, which was just to shoot a lot more threes.
Yes.
That was going to happen with or without this, this coach who's they told some kind of origin lore story about he was at the wine bar at Oakland Airport and some coach, or some chef came out, and this is like ESPN wrote a story and they're like, oh, the motion offense and all this BS, dude. They don't even run that in the playoffs, man. They just run pick and roll and they let it fly, dude. Like it would have happened anyways. That's why I don't really buy into this. Like, just because he sounds like your college drinking buddy, people give him credit. Like, I also give him credit for 26, the 3-1 down, and then giving up the 3-1 lead last year against the Rockets, where they had to go 7, and they went home in a body bag program. So, he was also there for those things, and
Yeah.
we could litigate
Yeah.
that. But I do want to talk about this year. So yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens this year. And again, this offseason that was nightmarish because of inactivity, because of the contract standoff, resolved. Now we're talking basketball. And Kuminga addressed the media, I believe, day before yesterday. No, it was yesterday. But I just there wasn't enough time to turn around his comments. And I pulled this one clip out, and this was Kuminga addressing the media in terms of whether he thinks the Warriors want him long term, and what his approach is going to be for the upcoming season. And I thought that answer, this is a two-parter, was especially awesome. Hearing the kid reveal to the world what his goal is. He said all the right things, is what I took away from it. Here was Kuminga yesterday talking to the media, his first interview since signing his new 2-year, $48.5 million contract to stay with the team that drafted him, the Golden State Warriors.
You know, they kind of mentioned that this contract, it seems to, have language in it that would make it very tradable. I know you had to waive your no trade clause within it. I mean, do you sense that they want you here long term?
I mean, I'll say so, based on, just me being back here, based on now, knowing, like, just feeling, I feel like I'll be, it don't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, let's see where this take us. But, my focus is this year pushing and actually helping us win. So, like I said, you never know what's going to happen. But, I'm happy, glad to be back. I was with some of my teammates today, and, most of them, all of them were happy to see me back here. So, let's see what this take us.
What do you kind of view as your on-court role on this team?
Not much, as just helping us win. Find a way to help us win, both hands, defense, offense, just find a way to be a piece that's going to help us win games and hopefully a championship.
And that right there is music to my ears. When a player is asked what the goal is and they say championship, bravo. That's what you should be saying from the get-go. Kuminga just sounds like a much happier person. $25 million over a year. Worth noting that if he does get traded, he gets a 15% trade kicker on top of what he's making this year. Armando, your thoughts on Kuminga's comments there in his press conference yesterday in general?
Bro, Kuminga has always been a team player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole narrative that he's I remember his rookie year and his second year, Light Years podcast and all these kind of people calling him Allen Iverson, and he's like a gunner and he just is always looking for a shot. Literally nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah.
The dude is always looking to play team ball, and he has played the role player, shoot threes, rebound, fit and play defense, all the things Kerr has asked him to do. He has done it for long stretches, helping this team get to the playoffs. In his second year, look at the end of that game, that end of the year, the game log. That is a fact, and there's no doubt in my mind he could do it this year too. The dude is 22. I want to highlight something for you guys. I remember, earlier this year, I follow David Thorpe. He's like a player development coach. He's got a big following with True Hoop. And I don't agree with everything he says, mainly because he doesn't watch as closely in context. But he did this thing where the number one skill that takes a player 10 years to improve from 18, if they're working on it every day, is dribbling. That is the number one skill that improves in the NBA. When you get it, it can take literally 10 years. Now, would I look at Jonathan Kuminga's working out, what his regimen is, the dude is 22. He is not going to be worse than he was last year, and he was incredible. The dude was the second best player on the floor in a playoff series. And to be honest, I personally think they would have won that series if it wasn't for certain other players on the team that should not be on the floor. And I won't name them. They start with a P. But The dude is going to impact this year, both as a role player and as a ceiling raiser when these guys are hurt. And I think, that's the kind of upside of this, or that's the like 500 ball version of this. That's what Kerr wants, but it's not going to be the ceiling raise, the championship. We're rested. We are the 1, 2, and 3 seed. We are rested, and we are playing our 5 highest paid wings, best players on the team together, and we are dominating teams. That is not the plan. So that is why we are in for deja vu.
Oof, I hope you're wrong on that. And we're going to break it down some more, because a huge reason why I'm feeling more optimistic about this upcoming season, despite of who is the head coach making the call, is this team, to me, is so much deeper than a year ago. They've got multiple veterans. Like last year, there were a lot of games where this team needed shooting and they virtually had none. Like Lindy Waters was someone they were desperately relying on, and we learned watching him, he's not consistent enough to be a player to rely on shooting the three. And Buddy Hield is a very streaky three-point shooter. He'll have runs where he reminds you why he led the league for 5 years and three-pointers made. And then he'll have stretches. I think last year was January, February, where he was shooting like 29%, maybe 30% from three. Horrible number. And he did that over a 2-month stretch. So consistency is not always Buddy Hield's game, but now you have Seth Curry, which is huge I love this. I love the Seth Curry edition. I don't know how you feel. We'll ask you about that in a second. I love the DeAnthony Melton signing, even though, like you mentioned a moment ago, he's not going to be available until December or January, which does suck. But and Al Horford as a stretch big, right? And he's someone who's going to, I think, make a considerable impact as long as he doesn't turn into an old man overnight. Very real possibility as well. The dude is 39 years old. But I love this roster, man. I think it's deep. I like, outside of a shot blocker, which they still don't have. I don't see weaknesses with this team. Do you? Like what are the holes on this current team besides Steve Kerr?
Look, you're all right. I'm gonna have a drink here because we're gonna talk about Podziemski.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So, for Pods to be on the floor and contributing to a winning title environment, he needs to shoot 43% from three consistently the whole season, and that's how much he gives up on defense. It's the same thing with Buddy Hield. And this is like some of the 2 worst defenders I've ever seen play together. Like that's why Draymond is getting gassed. It's because of that. Playing D, cleaning that up. Okay. If you're going to have that on the floor, those guys need to shoot 43+%. Seth Curry needs to do that because they are being played heavy minutes together on the floor as the shooting guard and small forward. Okay. And this is why it's all connected. People, that's why I don't like using the word small ball, because the small brained people just think I'm just talking about like rebounding or something. No, when you play loser ball, which maybe we could just rename moron ball, you when you're small and I talked about this last week, we had some players on there. When you are overmatched and playing outside of your position, it affects your legs and it affects your shots. There's no doubt in my mind that there's going to be stretches where Podziemski is shooting 45% from three. He's hitting 25 points a game and they're winning. And it's all good. Like literally, they need a scorer at that position because the defense is going to leave that position open, wide open. He is wide open for a effing reason. Now, is that going to carry forward in the playoffs? My answer to that last year was no, it was not, because I saw what teams were doing to the Warriors roster, and I was proven right. He was absolutely awful, except for 2 games, against 1 game when the Rockets weren't trying, and then the 5th game against Minnesota when they had just blown the Warriors out. The game was over by half, and then his percentages went up. The dude did not have the legs to play what do you do when everyone else is playing 110% too? You can't go farther than that. So I think this is a great championship level roster. I see all the guards on this roster, and I know where this is going. I know Kuminga is going to be played 18 to 20 minutes at power forward with 3 guards. I know that's going to happen, and it's not going to be winning basketball. It's going to be all year long. It's going to be 500 ball. It's going to be clutch games after clutch games. They're going to win a lot. They're going to win a lot, but they're also going to lose a lot too, because it's clutch game, just like it's been the last 4 years.
Armando, do you want to synchronize in honor of a Theodore, not Theodore, Theodore Irvin in the chat, who says, loser ball on 3. I'm going to do this just to entertain Theodore and you, Armando, but only if you want to do this. Do you want to?
Yeah.
You guys Palpatine behind you, so let's roll. 1, 2, 3. Loser ball. I can't believe we did that. We're children. Okay, so there you go. Theodore, I hope you're happy there. Let's break down the schedule that's coming up for the Warriors.
Yes.
Because you wanted to highlight the fact that there's a lot of back-to-backs. There's a lot of difficult games early in the schedule, and we're going to analyze that. After we give some love real quick to FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Golden Days. And unfortunately, the Warriors preseason opener, which is scheduled for Sunday, they're playing the LA Lakers at home. That game's going to be televised on ESPN. For you Bay Area ins, Bay Area ites, Bay Areans. There's no Niner football this weekend, so you can focus entirely on the Warriors taking on the Lakers again Sunday, October 5th. If my information in front of me is correct, the game's going to be at Chase Center. There is no line, though, courtesy of FanDuel, and I think the biggest reason why is because the Lakers actually make their preseason debut tonight. Tip-off is, we're recording this right now at 6:37 p.m. They're going to tip in approximately half an hour. The Lakers are hosting the Phoenix Suns. And again, betting on preseason games, borderline degenerate level stuff, not judging, more respect to you if you do it, especially if you win some money. But the Phoenix Suns are favored in that game. They're playing at Crypto. The Suns are favored by 4 over the Lakers. You can bet on that with FanDuel. And then I'm guessing after that game, we'll see a line for the Warriors and Lakers Sunday. Any predictions, any thoughts on the Warriors making their preseason debut Sunday? And side note, like with every game, we're going to go live immediately following. That includes the preseason action. Armando, your thoughts on preseason basketball starting tonight and the Warriors hosting the Lakers Sunday?
Yeah, man. Only thing you guys need to be looking at, the starters are going to be playing 15 minutes. Kerr said Curry, Butler, Draymond are going to play 15 minutes. Butler already had a little tweaked ankle today. It's already begun.
Yeah.
So, how many minutes is Kuminga playing with those guys? That's the only question you need to be looking at with this preseason. Don't even worry about nothing else. That's it. And what's going on with Moses Moody is a tertiary thing. Everything should be about those 5 guys, and everyone else in the roster should be fitting into that. That every other coach in the league would be doing that. Everyone else should be in orbit of those 5 guys.
That's fair.
And it ain't happening.
Well, let's look at the schedule. 82 games. That's the NBA schedule. A lot of people say that's too much. Good news is it's a shitload of action for us to enjoy. It takes us through the dark time of year, fall, winter, and then early spring. So let's take a look at least at the beginning of it. Armando, you asked to go through the whole thing. We'll play it by ear because we might get exhausted about a third of the way through this. Yeah.
Let me set up why I wanted to do this for the fans.
Please.
Because I think a lot of people, when me and my cousins at Sprewell Was Right, we look at the schedule in context. Like trap games are real. You play in LA, it's a different game. You play in Miami, it's a different game. Like we know why they struggle in Orlando and Phoenix randomly. We know these reasons. We know why Utah is a hard game, no matter how bad they are. So we got to look at this in context. And I want to set this up because there's something happened last year that was really alarming. When the Warriors made the playoffs, when they beat the Memphis Grizzlies in the playoff series, does everybody remember the few days off they had to the start of the Rocket series, and all the media was reporting Steve Kerr saying this is his quote unquote favorite time of the year because he actually gets to prepare for the opponents. He can actually he's really locked in and develop a game plan against the opponents. So this is like, people are like, oh, it's like, well, Steve Kerr won in 2022. Why are you so hard on him? The game is the league is a different league than it was in 2022. It is. And one of the ways it's different is that the West Coast is a sprint. It is not, this is not you just play your own game. And then when you get to the playoffs, you can start coaching actually then to play up. That's what Draymond gives Kerr a lot of credit, because Kerr starts coaching the playoffs. No. The Thunder were able to make it through because they had the easiest playoff route. They're not that good, but they had the number 1 seed, and the Clippers and Nuggets murdered each other, and that affected them down the line. If you're going to make the end, you need to be the 1 or 2 seed in the West, and it is a sprint. It is no longer a marathon. And one other thing that is setting the context for this, they just brought in 2 East Coast guys that have been coasting in the regular season for years. Jimmy Butler has been playing 55 games for the last 7 years. Horford is chilling. He don't play back-to-backs. You know how easy the Celtics have it in the playoffs, in the regular season? Like, they are now in the West Coast there is a sprint. So I want to take you guys through this thing and just show you it is going to be playoff basketball for 75% of this season. And we need to look at these back-to-backs, because every single bad team they face is on a back-to-back. And that makes those easy games harder. So I want you guys to look at this. It's crazy, this schedule.
Well, and going off the Jimmy Butler comment you just made about his durability, I decided to look that up real fast because I've not put a lot of thought into how many games we should expect Butler for this coming season. Since the 2017-18 season, this was the second year that the Warriors won the title with Kevin Durant on the squad, the third championship of the dynasty. Jimmy Butler that season was with Minnesota. Played 59 games, and he played the whole year there. And I forgot about that. I didn't know he played a full season plus. Then the next season is when he pushed himself out eventually, played 10 games for them, then got traded to Philly, played 65 total that year. 19-20 season, he's with Miami at this point, played 58 games. 2020-21, look, he led the no, wait a second. 1920 was COVID, right? So 58 is, I don't know if that means anything or not. 2020, 2021, 52 games. That's 30 games missed. 2022, he played 57 games, so he missed 25. 2023, he played 64 games. So that's not so bad. He missed 18. That's still a chunk, but it's not as bad. 2024, played 60 games. So he missed 22. And last year was kind of a weird one to assess because he got suspended a bunch. But he still played a total of 55 games last year. So not exactly a model of consistency, of reliability, of durability. That's a concern. I hear you, man. And that's all the more reason why the Kuminga signing was important, right? Because a player like Jimmy Butler missing time, that's where you're going to need someone like Kuminga to step up, right? With the athleticism and size, and because the Warriors don't have a lot of that. I mean, if Jimmy Butler is not in, the only other players comparable in terms of physique and stature is Kuminga and Guy Santos. Anyone else? I think that's it, right?
Well, TJD's name has been changed to DMP, so don't count him.
But he's a big. I mean, there just aren't a lot of that prototype. It's Jimmy Butler, it's Jonathan Kuminga, and it's Guy Santos, like guys who can defend a power forward or a small forward, right? And play that position offensively as well. So yeah, that Jimmy Butler thing, I didn't really put a lot of thought into that in terms of the number of games we're going to expect him to miss. And based off the last 7-8 years, be prepared for 20 plus games for him to sit out now. And that might be normal anyways because of back-to-backs. I don't know if he was expected to play in those anyways.
bro, it's not even him about being old. You just didn't have to play that much in the East. The East, I've been telling you guys there's 3 leagues in this. There's the West, the playoffs, and the East Coast. That's 3 different leagues with 3 different rules. It's literally 3 different sports. Like those guys are now, we got duped into bringing in East Coast All-Stars. They're in the West now, in the gauntlet, in the sprint. So let's go through this roster, man. This is crazy. I mean, this scheduled.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so and we'll start off with the season opener, which is going to be Tuesday, October 21st. This is opening night of the NBA. The line's already out, courtesy of the FanDuel Sportsbook. The Warriors are going to be in LA playing at Crypto. The line is the Lakers favored by 3.5. I love the money line for this. I think the Warriors will take care of business on opening night. But we look at the first. Let's start with the first. Do you want to go 10 games at a time? Is that a fair way of approaching this? All right. So, excuse me. So the first 10 games of the season, Tuesday, October 21st at LA. You get a day off, and then they play again Thursday at home against the Nuggets. That is a hell of a way to open the season. And then so that's your first back-to-back right there. Thursday and Friday at home against the Nuggets. Then you travel to take on Portland, a team that very undetermined in terms of how they're going to look this season. Need to see it on the court before we provide some judgment and analysis. Then they get 2 days off. They play the Grizzlies at home. Another back-to-back there. So just a note for the audience. I haven't looked at this at all. I'm actually like, this is a real-time revelation for me looking at the schedule. So a back-to-back, Monday, October 27th, Tuesday, October 28th, hosting the Grizzlies and the Clippers. Okay, that's not easy. Then you get a day off, and then you play the Milwaukee Bucks at Milwaukee. Then you play the Indiana Pacers at Indiana, and then you come home for another back-to-back, hosting the Phoenix Suns and then at Sacramento. So that's a little relief on your schedule. So let's start there with these games, and I think everyone can see it on the screen, with the exception of the Lakers game opening night. I count 3 back-to-backs in the first 10 games.
So, like, let me talk about this 10 games here, because this looks to people like there's some easy teams in here. But first off, that Laker game is a marquee matchup. It's gonna burn some energy. Like that's how first games always are. And the Lakers are legit. I know we hate them. We hate as Warriors fans, but I mean, I'm high. So Denver is much improved, as was said in the chat. But
FLA. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. But Denver's going to come in, and this is the beginning of the season. Denver has a lot to prove. So people think this Portland team is bad. Maybe so. Maybe they will be bad, but they're going to be coached and ready to play at the beginning of the season. Like, the context is this team is fully healthy and has a lot of things to prove. And it's on a back-to-back after playing Denver, where there's going to be emotional energy necessary to be up for that game. So that Portland game in Portland, when that fan base is ravenous, is going to be a hard game. Okay. They'll have a little bit of rest. Okay. But Memphis is a legit team. Like, people think because they lost T-Rex arms that they're going to be bad. No, they're not going to be bad.
I don't agree with that. Yeah,
they're going to be healthy at the beginning of the year. This is going to be a difficult game. The next night, they're playing the Clippers. The Clippers are going to have a well-coached professional team. It's going to be a hard back-to-back. All right, Milwaukee 2 days later. They're flying to Milwaukee. Now, everybody thinks this team's going to be bad, but you're talking about a healthy Giannis in the beginning of the year. That's the context of that game. It's not
a big team, right. Armando, because Miles Turner is part of that squad now too.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like they're going to be having fully realized that they have no hope. They're going to be playing hard in that game. That's the context of that game. Okay, a few days later, they fly to Indiana. Now, everybody thinks Indiana is going to be bad this year. No. Like, Urkel being gone ain't that big a deal, man. Like, Siakam is there. He is playing. They got guards that can light it up. They got a lot to prove. They're in Indiana. That is a professional, proud team. Okay, Then we get a nice.
Who has the Warriors number? Side note, by the way, just to piggyback off what you said, they always play the Warriors tough, and I think they have a winning streak against the Golden State. I'll look that up real fast. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying all of these bad teams are going to be tough outs, just like they've been the last 4 years. Clutch games where we're going to win half of them. Okay, so Phoenix is really bad, right? And Phoenix is going to be bad this year because they have their draft pick. Okay, that's the thing about them. They have their draft pick, and that means they're tanking. And everybody needs to know that there are literally 4 franchise level players in this draft, like Cooper Flag level good. So like, there's going to be some serious tanking. Phoenix is going to be one of them, but not at the beginning of the year. Okay, we always struggle with Phoenix, and they're Booker's going to be there. They'll be healthy. It's going to be. They got professional. Dylan Brooks is a culture guy. That is going to be a team to play, okay? So,
and by the way, sorry to interrupt again, but just I looked it up. The Pacers have won 7 out of the last 8 meetings with the Warriors.
Whew.
Just important to note. Yeah,
I mean, we do have an edge. That's a bad team, but another thing to consider at the beginning of this year in context is there's no scouting report on this team. It's a brand new team with brand new offensive potential. Like, there's no plan against this team, so it's gonna be a tough out, in my humble opinion. These games are not easy.
No. Well, and just to add to that, so we're looking at, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're looking at the first 9 games is what we looked at. In terms of who's going to be favored, they're already underdogs at LA, right? They're 3.5-point underdogs. They're going to be underdogs against Denver. They'll be favored against Portland. I'm going to guess they're going to be favored against the Grizzlies, but that's going to be very close, borderline toss-up. They won't be favored against the Clippers, I don't think. They won't be favored at Milwaukee. Indiana, I feel like, is going to be a toss-up in terms of the spread. They will be favored against Phoenix, and I think they also will be favored at Sacramento. But you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they're going to be underdogs in 5 of those first 9 games, which I think is important.
They'll be underdogs, but those other games are going to be tough outs. And it's going to be a playoff push. Like, everyone's talking about, they don't want to do the playoff push. They might win a lot of these games because the Warriors will be healthy, and Horford will be spry. Like, Horford is going to get hit his 1 3-pointer in the first game. He's going to get a block, maybe hit a few more threes. Everybody's going to be happy. It'll be good. They're going to have energy. They're going to win a lot of these games. And there will be a running, and people will be on here like talking about how I was wrong, but it's going to come back around. Whatever playoff energy they push is going to come back around on this team, because these games are going to be hard. Okay. And we're going to see a lot of Kings here, and the Kings are going to bring it this year. And I got reasons why.
Oh, interesting. All right. Well, real fast, while we have these first 9 games in our focus, 3 back-to-backs, right? Again, we highlighted Denver, Portland as a back-to-back. We highlighted Memphis Clippers as a back-to-back. And then we highlighted Phoenix and Sac as a back-to-back. So 3 back-to-backs in the first 9 games. I feel like the smart approach, and Steve Kerr has not made any commitments yet in terms of back-to-backs and whether or not the veterans are going to sit those out. But let's say, for the sake of argument, he does the wise move, which is to not play your veterans in back-to-backs. And more specifically, the players I'm thinking of that you rest for these back-to-backs are Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and Al Horford, right? So there's 4 players who, if your goal is long-term, you're going to do that so they can stay fresh for the postseason, and you're reducing the risk of injury. The Warriors' depth is going to have to play part in this. And the question I ask you, Armando, and this is an exercise we can both do, and this is, again, why it was so important for the Warriors to resolve this Kuminga issue and bring him back. I mean, you had a lot of people in this fan base screaming vitriol at Kuminga, saying, well, I don't even want him back. Just let him go altogether. What the hell would you have done on nights like that? Like, this team would be so sorely lacking in athleticism, scoring, even defense, like pretty much everything, with the exception of elite 3-point shooting. And I still think Kuminga is a good 3-point shooter, not elite. So his absence would have been so notable. It's a relief that he's back and he seems happy. But my question to you, Armando, and maybe I can start the exercise here with my answer, is who replaces those 4 guys in the lineup, right? because DeAnthony Melton is going to be out for the first month, maybe two. Seth Curry's not going to be playing until mid-November, so he's going to miss all of these games. His first game back is going to be, if the reports are right, is going to be Sunday, November 16th at New Orleans. And so that means 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So the Warriors are going to miss Seth for the first 14 games approximately in the season. When you look at the depth chart of the Warriors in terms of who's got to step up, Brandon Podziemski clearly is going to play bigger minutes. Moses Moody, I think, is going to suddenly take on a much bigger role. I think Jonathan Kuminga, goes without saying, is going to have to take a much bigger role. And then there's that fourth player, and whether that's Quentin Post, whether that's Buddy Hield, anyone I'm missing? Because DeAnthony Melton's not going to play yet. That's who you're looking at. So Guy Santos, I think, is going to have to step up and play a bigger role. Those players are going to be very important this year in terms of filling gaps that are going to be there throughout the season. Your thoughts on the depth?
So this is why people are optimistic, and I think you're giving a fair counterpoint, and it's good for the viewers to. I just want to highlight it. Like, it is Steve Kerr's plan. He literally said 2 days ago, we're gonna play him. We're gonna integrate him as a role player, and then inevitably our star players are gonna have to sit out, and we're gonna really rely on Kuminga for that. That is their plan. They've said that. But hey, guys, chat that is with me on Friday nights. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You can go. There's plenty of other people to listen to. It's all good. That is the go home in a body bag program. Okay. That is 4.0, because when they do this, it is going to be Jonathan Kuminga playing power forward against whatever Phoenix, Indiana, with 3 guards. And it is going to be 500 basketball. Oh. That is not his natural position. They do not play them correctly. There's no system being built to take advantage of this guy. What other coach says that? We're gonna have 2 teams. We're gonna have a team that like, think about that for 5 seconds. That has never happened in the history of the NBA, that we're gonna just literally say we have 2 teams. Okay, so it ain't gonna be like what you think it's gonna be. I'm sorry, it just isn't. Vegas has this right. Vegas has the Warriors at 43 or 44 wins.
45.5.
45. Okay, they got it right.
Like the under, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. We're gonna live stream me betting the under. So October 22nd, I'm gonna be in Vegas, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Oh, hell yeah, dude! Yep. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
But the season starts October 21st. So you're gonna put the bet in after the first game.
That's just when I'll be in Vegas.
Okay, gotcha. All right, fair enough. So I'm looking forward to that, man. I that's fantastic.
And it's gonna go up because of Warriors fans. They're gonna get hyped. They're getting hyped, like some of these folks in the chat. The number is gonna go up. I think it's up to 46 now. So I cannot
check. I have it right here. And look, anything gambling wise, I am your man. So on the year, regular season wins. The last time I looked at this, it was Warriors minus 45.5. Oh my God, brother. Oh, it's already up a full game. It is now at 46.5.
They're trying to get that Bay Area money. I'm telling you, that's what it is. It's trying to pull in money. And I've had a lot of success betting on the Warriors. I won $3,000 betting on the 2022 championship. Like, that was obvious to us how bad the rest of the league was. We have won every year since betting the under. Last year we bet the over, and we won that too, because we saw where that line was at. This year is not. I'm looking at this schedule, and we've gone through 10 games, but it continues to be like this. All the bad teams that you would expect easy wins are on back-to-back nights. It's going to make those games harder.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Kev F in the chat, adding the new Hobbit lineup will consist of the Curry brothers, Brandon Podziemski, Buddy Hield, GP2 as your 5. I love it. Bring on the Hobbit march. And then Ken Mamba has a couple of questions for us. If we were in charge, hypothetically, would Al Horford and Quentin Post play together on the floor? And honest prediction on our first 10 games. Let's start with Al Horford and Quentin Post playing together. Last season, the closest thing we saw to that, if I remember correctly, was Kyle Anderson being on the floor for some chunks of minutes here and there with, I think, Quentin Post. I think, or was it Trace Jackson Davis? or was it Kevon Looney? And I'm forgetting. I apologize. I do remember there were a few moments last season where, and maybe it was Quinn Post was the reason why, where he actually went with two bigs. To answer this question, though, I don't think there's a chance in hell we're going to see Al Horford and Quinn Post on the floor together. I just don't see that happening based off what Steve Kerr does. Armando, what are your thoughts? Do you think we'll see those two on the floor together?
No, we won't. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And then the first 10 games. So the 10th game, we reviewed the first 9. The 10th game on the schedule is a very tough one. It's at Denver. So, I mean, look, honest prediction, here's what I'll tell you right now. I think they're going to beat the Lakers opening night. I don't think they're going to beat Denver in the second game. I think they'll beat Portland in the third game. I think they'll beat Memphis in the fourth game. I think at home they'll beat the Clippers. If that was a road game, I'd be a little more wary. So that's like, look, if my prediction is right, and it's just a prediction, we're looking at a 4-1 start. The Warriors always, for whatever reason, play Milwaukee well. Even when they lose, they keep these games close. I think they can surprise some people and win that game. That's 5-1. Indiana on the road, Indiana, for whatever reason, just always figures out a way to beat the Warriors. They've won 7 out of their last 8 meetings. I do not expect the Warriors to win that one either. So I'll predict no on that, a loss. I think they'll beat Phoenix. I think they'll beat Sac, and I think they'll lose that Denver game. My prediction 7-3. What about you, Armando?
This is the message I want to give to you guys. They could go 10-0 in this first round, in this first 10 games. But you need to understand the context. These are going to be tough games, even if they're playing balls out, playoff basketball because they're healthy. They might go 10-0, and people are going to be excited. And it'll be all good, but it is going to cost them down the line. This is the message I'm trying to get you. It is a 82-game sprint Western Conference gauntlet. The go home on a body bag program 4.0 is in full effect. So they might win a lot of these games, but I'm trying to point out to you that these are going to be down to the wire, tough as nails games. Okay. Horford might look good. First 4 games, it's going to be a lot of hype. Okay. But you need to understand the context of what's going on here. Okay.
That's fair. No, I think that's fair. So what you're saying, if I'm interpreting correctly in other words, you think the Warriors might be very successful in terms of wins and losses, but don't count on them to be covering the spread in the process.
No, like if the schedule keeps going like this, why those games are going to be tough. It just keeps going on. There's a small break in late January where it gets a little bit easier. Okay. So there'll be some winning. And then at that point, but
and Bruce Morrow's saying doom and gloom. And I need to remind people your backdrop in case people don't know. So Bruce, don't be surprised. Go ahead. Go on. What is that? Is that the guy from Ghostbusters 2?
Vigo, man.
That is. Yeah. Oh my God, that is hilarious, dude.
Hey man, I told you guys, it's been all positive, all Warriors land, all the podcasts, all the light years. It's all good. Even Cyrus over here, 2 days of pure joy.
I feel good. Yeah, I do.
It's Friday, baby. It's Friday. We keep it real, man. This is it's the go home on a body bag program 4.0.
Do you have classes, Armando, where you tell your students, look, I know you folks that you're feeling good. The weather is nice today. I'm here to stop that party. I'm here to bring the doom and gloom. Let's get into it and talk some Karl Marx. Do you ever approach classes like that?
So I teach why financial crises happen and why they're not a bug of our economy. So we're due for one in the first quarter of 2025. Get your tech stocks ready. Anyways, yes, same deal. Vigo. Oh, good.
I agree with John Holmes, who may or may not be a porn star, who writes, "We are deep enough to keep the vets fresh." That is my optimistic feeling as well. And again, a lot of this will come down to Steve Kerr. Look, if Kerr pulls that same shit where we suddenly see Podziemski playing 40 minutes, where the GP2 minutes, I think, are going to reveal a lot. If GP2 is playing 25 minutes on these back-to-backs where the veterans are rested, they're in deep shit. If Steve Kerr realizes you better play your youth, meaning Santos, meaning Kuminga, Moses Moody, Podziemski as a point guard and not 40 minutes, then I think they're going to be okay. But these are all huge ifs, contingent on Steve Kerr.
Yeah, I agree. Championship roster, playing, coaching, but Rasai, like the Warriors were really concerned last year. Draymond said this. Coach Kerr said it a few days ago that they had to do a playoff push at the end of the season, and that's what cost them in the playoffs being tired. They've literally are admitting what I'm telling you. You all are killing me in there, but literally they are admitting that they could not sustain that level of playoff energy. Okay. That is going to be the case in the beginning of this year, and it's going to be the case at the end of the year. Go look at the last 10 games of the season, Cy. Go look at the last 10 games of the season.
Oh, of this upcoming season, you mean?
Yes, of this season. Yep.
All right. Well, let's go back to let's go back to how do I hold on a second here? There we go. So we go back to the schedule, and again, we looked at the first 10 games. You didn't answer what do you think the record's going to be? I predict 7-3 record for the Warriors after the first 10. Your thoughts?
7-3. That sounds good. I mean, maybe okay. Yeah, 7-4. I think that Sacramento game is going to be extremely difficult. If they do win that, they're coming out of that. There's an injury coming out of that Sacramento game.
Oh boy. Oh, you're really going dark tonight. All right. So we covered the first 10, and that concludes with at Denver. Rough game. Notice these nationally televised games, by the way. The Warriors' first 2 games nationally televised on, and look, they're going to have to be a little more clear here. Don't write NBC and Peacock unless it's going to be on both. If it's on both, then fine. But so opening night, NBC/Peacock. Then you got ESPN for the second game. You got NBC Peacock again for game 5. So my guess is this is going to be nationally televised on NBC and also on Peacock. That was my prediction. I think that's how this is going to work. And then they got to round out the 10 game on Prime Video. I'm curious to know how that looks like. All right. So those are the first 10. The next 10, games 11 through 20 for your Golden State Warriors. At home against the Pacers, who, again, are not an easy out ever. At OKC. Oh, Jesus Christ. You followed that up with a back-to-back at San Antonio. You get a night off, then you play at San Antonio again. Then you get a night off, you're at New Orleans. You get a night off, you're at Orlando. Back-to-back there in Florida, at Orlando, at Miami. Then you come back home and you host Portland, Utah, and Houston. So,
this looks like an easy schedule to people, right? Like the San Antonio through Utah, like, oh, those are all wins. No. Like, those are must-win games. You cannot lose any of these games. You were at San Antonio. What's the scouting report on that team? It's a totally new team. It's going to be a tough out. Okay, they might win it. New Orleans, this is the beginning of the season. You got GLP-1, Skinny Zion. They're coming to – that was a good team when they were healthy last year. That is going to be a tough out. Maybe they won't be there at the end of the year, but at this point, it's going to be tough. At Orlando. Have we ever had an easy game at Orlando in the last 4 years?
No. But they won last year, I think. But no, it's never easy.
I'm pretty sure Steph Curry was crying in that game last year. So
from injury?
Remember that?
What was he crying about?
Draymond got kicked out after he said he was going to be good. Like, dude,
let me look that up. Hold on.
Yeah, look it up. Steph Curry crying.
I believe you. I'm not doubting you, but I'm just I want to go back and see what the result was of that game. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Paolo Banchero is the real deal. He is coming for us. And
he is the real deal.
Right. We might win. It's all good. We might win. But the next night, those are must-win games. Now you're playing Miami. Like, Miami is a professional team with a professional coaching. It's going to be difficult. These are just not easy games. The Portland game is going to be an easy game. That's a home game. I think by this point, in contrast to the first 5 games of the season, this game will be easy. This is probably a win. Probably, Utah. So those are must win. We got to get these games. We got to get these games.
And just to let people know, Armando, last year, the Warriors beat Orlando in Orlando. Close game, 121-115. I forgot all about this. Stephen Curry dropped 56 in that game, making 12 three-pointers in the process. So it was a huge game for him.
The go home in a body bag program is Steph Curry averaging 30-plus points a game and bailing this team out. Like, do you guys not see what's going on here? This is going to be necessary all year long, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, KS adding that Steph was pissed because Dre got ejected that game. So much of this will rely, to me, on Steve Kerr playing the right guys and the wrong guys. It's, again, GP2 just needs to be a cheerleader on this team this year. I think that's my safe assumption, if anything, from this stretch. But look, that's not an easy stretch of games. I think you're absolutely right that the Spurs are borderline must win because of how difficult the West is going to be as a whole. You gotta pull, like, for example, 2 games in San Antonio. You got to get a split minimum out of that. You got to beat New Orleans. Orlando will not be easy, but if you're playing the East, you better come away with wins from those games. By the way, did you see there's a report today? I forgot who wrote it. Or maybe it was Jake Fisher, that the Warriors are closely monitoring the Bam Adebayo situation in Miami. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did.
I imagine if that's going to happen, it would be a trade centered around Kuminga. I wouldn't hate Bam Adebayo. I'll say that
I
much.
fully think Spoelstra knows how bad of a coach Steve Kerr is, and he knows that pairing Jonathan Kuminga with Andrew Wiggins is a effing finals run in the East. So, like, I fully believe they want to get that guy under the right circumstances to play what should have been played for years here. Okay. Aside, can we talk about the Kings? I know you got your buddy here. It's a great podcast every week.
It doesn't mean that I'm going to defend the Kings. I could care less about them, man. What are your thoughts on that?
So I am heavily debating betting the over on the Kings this year.
35.5, right? Let me look that up real fast.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, so they were, I think, 35.5 or 34.5. They're currently 34.5. I think that's what it was. I don't think the line's moved.
Man, so everybody thinks that team's going to be bad because it has no direction.
I agree.
So the players on that team are on contract years. And if you know the history of the league, this matters.
Yeah. Yes.
DeRozan is playing for a contract. Okay. Smokey Eyes is eligible for a contract extension.
Who's Smokey Eyes? I'm sorry, I forgot. Who's
the young athletic wing that the Warriors want to trade Kuminga.
Oh, Keegan Murray?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, makes sense. All right, I follow. Okay,
Mr. Eyeliner.
Yes, sir.
And Zach LaVine is coming due. So these guys are professionals. Like, they've been in the league. So that team, it may not be a championship roster, but they're coming for it. And I think that team has a lot of pride. And I see them being tough outs. It's not going to be like this rollover situation like everybody expects it to be. Like, you have to look at the contract situations of the best players on the team. And that's where I believe that's coming from. So reasonable to disagree. Well,
I don't have a strong opinion either way. Here's the Kings cap situation. This is courtesy of Spot Track. So Zach LaVine, for example, has another year after this season. Sabonis has 2 more years after this. Which players were you looking at that are under contract years? Keegan Murray's one of them, and that's important, right? He's going to be a restricted free agent next season, so he could essentially go through what Kuminga went through this summer. Who are you looking at? That's going to be a free agent. Keon Ellis, that could be a big one. Who are you talking about? DeMar DeRozan?
Oh, DeMar. Oh, okay. So they have another year. All right, maybe not. Yeah. So Zach LaVine has got 2 years. DeRozan's got 2 years.
The green box means what does the green mean?
Oh, damn, they got Dennis Schroeder?
Yeah, they signed him this offseason, yeah.
Woo. Dario, I like this team.
I don't know what the green means. I don't know if it just means they get a pay bump. I have no clue what the green is. But the dark red is restricted free agent, blue unrestricted free agent. So Dario Saric, for example, he's gone.
I think the green means extension eligible, perhaps. Is that true?
Huh. Well, anyways, now that you know that most of the players are, or at least a lot of them are going to be under contract, do you still feel the same way? Or
yeah, I mean, it is muted a little bit. I agree. I kind of thought these guys were extension eligible, but
they might be.
I could be wrong.
They could be extension eligible. I don't think this reveals that information. I'm just, but it looks like most of their players are locked in for at least another season. I mean, Keon Ellis. Yeah,
I just like this team. Look, Zach LaVine, Sabonis is a professional. That guy brings it. DeMar DeRozan is a professional. Malik Monk is a legit player because he's played in his proper position. They're right to not get him on the Warriors because he would be playing small forward. Dennis Schroeder was bad on the Warriors. He's been good everywhere else because he was being played at shooting guard next to Podziemski. That's why he was bad. That's why he did that.
I still can't believe they did that.
He could not shoot when he was with us. He's going to be good on this team. So this is they're going to be a tough out. And also they're going to bring it against the Warriors. Because of all the trade stuff, they're going to play hard against the Warriors. That's you think Malik Monk is going to just just take that game off? No, I don't think so. Malik Monk.
Yeah, we shall see. I'm gonna lean. I'm gonna stick with what what I feel about the Kings, which is I think they're gonna be an awful team. But you might be right too. I'm not sitting here giving a strong prediction on that.
You could be right. Which teams in the West are gonna fall and which one are gonna surprise us. It could be Dallas that falls. It could be the Spurs that fall. But there's gonna be some surprise. It might be the Pelicans. It might be Portland. Some teams are going to surprise us. It's not just gonna be a bottom falling out. These teams are quality.
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that the Houston Rockets, as we look ahead to the schedule, have 10 players, 10 with 7 feet or longer wingspans? Their team, and the Rockets are a perfect example of folks out there who thinks you absolutely need spacing to win in this league. The Rockets had virtually no three-point shooting whatsoever last year and still finished as the 2 seed in the West. I know the Warriors ultimately beat them, but look, to me, the whole spacing focus and how you it's a live or die scenario. You can win in basketball without having an army of three-point shooters on your team. There are other ways to score and win. I digress, though. Are you ready to look? Well, real quick, let's predict these next 10. Because I was at 7-3 for the first 10 games to start the season in terms of predictions. So now that we have these next 10, which starts right here. So Indiana, I'll just go through these one by one. So Indiana at home without Tyrese Halliburton, I think the Warriors can win that. So I'll say 1 there. At OKC, safe bet loss. You never know. I actually feel good about the Warriors against OKC, but I'll play the numbers game here, the probability game, and say that's a loss. So 1-1. I think they'll get a split in those 2 Spurs games. So that's 2-2. I think they could beat New Orleans in New Orleans. I think they could beat Orlando in Orlando. I think they can beat Miami in Miami. I think they could beat Portland and Utah at home. And Houston at home is going to be damn tough. Now, let's just say for the sake of argument, that's a loss. You're still looking at 6-4, 7-3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7-3. So I'm looking at a 14-6 start to the first 20 games. What are you looking at? What's your prediction?
Yeah, if that's the case and they win that much, that's great. The first 20 games that would be 13-7. That's what you're saying, pretty much. Yeah,
14-6. 14-6.
Yeah, that's certainly reasonable.
Yeah.
Based on that, for sure, the first 20 games. So it's all good. It'll be good. It'll be nice. It'll be happy times, but not on Friday. We're gonna be talking about what's really going on Friday.
And Theodore Irvin in the chat saying they're not going to win all those games. And they might not, but I feel optimistic about a lot
Yeah,
of those.
I mean, you guys like you guys have been watching the last 4 years, right? Like, when is there easy games with this team?
And the Warriors still pull it. Yeah, I mean,
they've really struggled in clutch situations. The vets have struggled, and like even like that 19-2 run, like I mean, it's gonna be building up fatigue the longer they have to play playoff level basketball. That's gonna, I'm telling you, it's gonna keep pushing them towards that.
If Armando, if Steve Kerr stupidly rides the veterans more than he needs to, I wholeheartedly agree. And this is why I think this whole season it comes down to how Steve Kerr utilizes and manages his players. Like if he trusts the young guns, and when I say trust them, I mean if they have a slow first half, don't panic. Let them play the 30-plus minutes and win a game for you, or at least give them the chance to win games for you. If Steve Kerr has the patience to let the young players and the other players expected to step up on a lot of nights when the veterans are not going to be available, I feel great about this. If Steve Kerr burns Dray like that, like at the beginning of the show, him saying like he might still start Draymond at the 5, like if you're actually doing that, yeah, then no, I don't feel good at all. I think this team's going to burn out and crash, and you're going to be dealing with an exhausted, overrun, injury-riddled Warriors team come playoffs. And how Kerr manages this season, to me, is vital. It's make or break. So
yeah, I mean, the only way I see this going against what I'm saying is if Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody get played 30 minutes a game.
Yes.
And those guys are the linchpin. If those 30 minutes are instead Pods and Buddy Hield, like we are in the go home in a body bag program. The thing to look at in the beginning of the season, even if when they're winning these games, it's not Al Horford's minutes. It's how many minutes Pods is playing with the starters, and it's Jonathan Kuminga's 3-point shooting. Is he being given opportunities to take green lit shots? Yeah. That's it. Or is he being taken out when he misses one? That's the only thing you need to look at, whether they're winning and losing. That's it. That's the only thing I'm looking at. That's it, because that plays into the defensive level on the floor that is going to make things easier or harder.
So the next 10 games, if my math is correct, I hope I'm going 10 at a time here. Did I get that right? Hold on, just to be safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. So we're at 20 games so far. So games 21 through 30. We're stretching now into December. New Orleans at home, OKC at home, at Philly, at Cleveland, at Chicago, at Phoenix, at home against Phoenix, hosting Orlando, hosting Dallas. Oh, and this is around this time. There's going to be a play-in tournament as well. That's not on the schedule. And then at Toronto. Those are your next 10 games. I didn't even bother to look to see how many back-to-backs were in that 11 through 20. Let me see that real quick. Hold on, where do we start here?
I got all the back-to-backs listed on I have a list here.
Oh, that's right. I got it right here. So the next games 11 through 20, there's only one back-to-back. So they do get a reprieve after those first 10 games. And that one back-to-back is OKC and at San Antonio. Now, the games 21 through 30, they have one back-to-back December 6th and 7th, where they take on the Cavaliers and the Bulls.
So
and that's it.
Let's talk about those games, that East Coast here. So
please.
Like, we're back at Pelicans again. And then let's see. Okay, we get a little bit of rest. That's good. So we'll come into that OKC game fresh, right? Like, we're going to ball out in that OKC game. The vets are going to play hard. We might win that game, but it's going to be a hard game because it's OKC, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we fly to Philadelphia. Now, Philly might be kind of an easy out, but the thing you need to remember is it is the effing Super Bowl when Steph Curry comes to town. This has been the case for 4 years. There's never an easy game because all the rich people show up, all the exes and girlfriends show up, everybody comes, and it's time to play ball because Steph Curry and the show is in town. That's why people shoot well against us, because it is a Super Bowl when we come to town. So Even if they're bad, it's going to be tough. Cleveland is a legit team. Chicago, that might be an easy win. Easy win at Phoenix. Easy win at Phoenix. You'd like to think, but this is what we're talking about again. We're just assuming these are easy wins.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like, and then I think this is when the play-in tournament happens, right?
Around here, yeah.
Right.
Correct.
December, because it looks like there's like a bunch of
it's this
like
stretch, right? It's this little window
Yeah.
right here between the 7th and the 18th of December, I imagine, is where they're going to squeeze some playing games. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not playing. I'm sorry, the in-season tournament.
So let's look at this post Christmas. This
Real quick, since we're making predictions, these are games 21 through 30. So far, I'm predicting a 14-6 record up until this point. I'm going to go New Orleans win, OKC lose, and again, I'm just playing the probability game, and who knows what really happens. Oops, whoops. Sorry about that. Oh boy, I blew it. There we go. So Philly, I'm going to say win, even though you might very well be right, Armando, that any one of these games, these teams will step up and play harder than they normally do because of the Stephen Curry factor. With that said, I'll say win in Philly, a loss in Cleveland, a win at Chicago. They beat Phoenix twice. I think Phoenix is going to be an awful team this year, and I could be wrong on that. Who knows?
I think it'll be bad. I think by December it'll be tank time. I think the earlier games, that's why I think those earlier Phoenix games will be a little bit tougher. But by this point, we might start beginning into time to go for the top 9. Their pick is only good if they get the top 9 pick. So they have to tank.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good fact. One of the teams I have a very hard time predicting right now is Dallas. Like, I have no idea if they're going to be good or not. They could be an awful team. Like right. The fact that Armando, the fact that Cooper Flagg is still 18 years old, that trips me out, man. Like, I don't know if like people should be having high expectations for him. You know what I'm saying? He's so young.
The clips I've seen though, he has
So
defensive instincts and he has positional size.
Yeah.
Well, that goes a long way in the NBA in terms of just being a competitive out.
Yeah.
But they might be bad, but dude, I'm telling you guys, the context of this game on December 25th, national media with Klay Thompson, they're gonna bring it. Like, they might be terrible the rest of the season, but they will play their best ball on this night. This is what I'm talking about when you look at a schedule in context. This is gonna be a tough out. They might win, but it's gonna cost them. It's gonna be building fatigue.
Is Klay still with LaFonda? Well, no, shoot, not. I can't believe I did that. LaFonda is the character in Napoleon Dynamite. Megan Thee Stallion. Is that still happening?
I hope so. Klay needs it. Klay, he'd be lucky to hitch his wagon in her star.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, forgive me for that. LaFonda, Napoleon Dynamite's a hilarious movie. Let's break this down real fast in terms of wins and losses. Win, loss, win, loss, win. Orlando will win. I'll say, just to be safe, to be conservative, a loss against Dallas, and then a win against Toronto at Toronto. That's December 28th, the first game after Christmas. So we're looking at another 7-3 mark. So 21-9 at this point. I think there's a trend emerging here, Armando. I like the trend.
So that
here are the next 10.
I like you bringing up, like, just on paper they're better than these teams. Like, just looking at them, and so they should win. If on paper, if they were properly coached, what should the thing be? That's a really good stat to know. 21-9. They're going to be 500 at this point going into Christmas.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. You just don't feel like, what is your primary concern with this team in terms of why you don't think they're going to be good? Is it just Kerr? Is it certain specific personnel? Like, I know Podziemski, clearly, Brandon Podziemski. I did just say his name just in case you're still holding up the tradition of taking a drink every time I say his name. Is it Podziemski? Like, what is concerning you the most about the Warriors and preventing you from sharing my optimism about this team?
Dude, it's what I'm saying. These games are not, these teams seem better than the Warriors seem better than these teams, but the games are going to be tough when you're playing 3-4 guards. That's what I'm getting at. I've been hammering it home.
So it's
Commi-
Kerr. So Steve Kerr is what you're worried about.
basically, yes. This
Yeah,
is a
and I hear you on that, man. Yeah,
playing coaching.
And those three sometimes 4-guard lineups, they are torturous to watch. I'm totally with you on that, and I think even equally concerning, not just in terms of the in-game a negative impact on a lineup like that. You're also like the strain and wear and tear you're putting on these smaller bodies over the course of an 82 game season. I mean, if your goal is to win a title, like, you got to preserve these people and keep them fresh for the games that actually count in April. I'm with you on that. So real quick here, this looks like one of the easiest stretches of the season for the Warriors, maybe the easiest right here. This is late December, early January. They're going to play at Brooklyn, at Charlotte. They host OKC. They host Utah. They're at the Clippers. They host Milwaukee. They host SAC. They host the Atlanta Hawks. They host Portland. And the 10th is New York. And that might be tough, but that should be a fun one. So I'm looking at this stretch. We have one back-to-back here. So one back-to-back again. So we have 5 back-to-back so far as we look at games 31 through 40 now. I'm going to say Brooklyn win, Charlotte win, OKC loss, Utah win, at LA loss, Milwaukee at home. Is that a third Milwaukee game? Anyway, Milwaukee at home, I'll say win. I feel good. They play Milwaukee good typically. Sacramento win, Atlanta win, Portland win, New York loss. We'll just say for the sake of argument, just to play the probability game. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So another 7-3 stretch. Again, we got a trend. What are your thoughts on this 10-game stretch?
They're going to be struggling to be 500.
All right, so I have
no, but it's good.
Consistent, sir. I respect that.
So it's good that you're calling that out, because this is their plan. They think they're winning these games. So where are you adding that? That's like another 7-3 stretch.
Correct.
So they think their record is going to be
28-12 at this point.
That's what they think. Okay, great.
Well, that's what I think. I don't know. When you say they, do you refer to the team?
No, just the objective. I think you're doing it right. Like, who are they on paper better than? Like,
Gotcha.
In a one game, like, you would pick the Warriors over these teams, but it has not gone like that for 4 years. It ain't gonna go like that for this year either.
That's fair.
No, I don't think Sai's being delusional. I literally think he's pointing out, like, they would be favored going into these games, like, on these teams. Like, that's what he's saying, and that's fair. Yep.
Aim Assist is saying Charlotte is going to be tough too. Why?
Why do you think that?
Charlotte is? I think Charlotte. I mean, who knows? Maybe actually, Ball shows up and plays the whole season.
One thing I want to point out about this January. So go back up a little bit. Yep. So keep going right there. Okay, keep going a little bit more. Yep. All right. Let's start from the 28th. They're playing a game every other night for a month and a half.
With one back-to-back, yeah.
29, 31, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Like, this is the context of the schedule. It keeps going. Keep going, Si. Like these teams look easy. 13, 15, 17, 19, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Detroit is a legit team.
Yes, they are. Oh, hell yeah, they are. Oh, yeah.
Like, those look like easy. That's the easy, soft part of the schedule, but you're talking about every other night playing, traveling, like going from East to West Coast. This matters, man. Yep.
And this is all the more reason why, again, Steve Kerr cannot treat these veterans like they're 30. You got to treat them like they're 40, which is what they're closer to. This season, the more I'm looking at this, the more my belief is it's all going to come down to how Steve Kerr manages the minutes of his team, the personnel. These next 10 games, let's go through this real fast. And that's a good point you bring up, the fact that there are no extended breaks here. It's even though there isn't a lot of back-to-backs in this part of the schedule, it is every other day, literally every other day. So they're not going to be getting practices in. A lot of traveling. You gotta play the young players, man. And January 15th is when Jonathan Kuminga will officially be available to trade. The Warriors, if that's the plan, and again, huge if, who knows? Let's not pretend Joe Lacob has suddenly fallen out of love with this kid. And who they trade for will be a vital piece of this. But so from the 15th through approximately mid-February. So my guess is February 11th will be when the trade deadline expires.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be the window right there where the Warriors, if they're going to trade Kuminga, it'll be in that window. Again, huge if. We left it here. So starting with January 17th, the Warriors will host Charlotte, host Miami, host the Raptors. That's a beautiful 3-game stretch at home. And then they play 4 road games at Dallas, 2 at Minnesota, and then they finish up that road trip at Utah. And then they'll come back home to host Detroit, who you mentioned is a damn good team. I agree. Philly and at Phoenix. That's your next 10-game stretch. My prediction, let's see if you go 7-3 again. Charlotte win, Miami win, Toronto win. Just for the sake of the probability game, I'll say at Dallas loss. These 2 Minnesota games, the Warriors last year were 3-1 in head-to-head against Minnesota. I'll predict a split there. I'll predict a win at Utah. For the sake of argument, I'll say a loss at Detroit, a win at home, not at home against Detroit. I'm sorry. I think they'll beat Philly at home, and I do think they'll beat Phoenix on the road. So that comes out to win, 7-3 again. Every 10-game stretch, at least from my math, has come out to 7-3. So that comes out to 35-15 is what the record would be if this math is correct. Who knows? On February 5th. Any thoughts or anything to add there?
So where are we at on the most optimistic Steve Kerr plan here? It's
35-15 record as they approach the All-Star break.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. It's reasonable to think that that's going to happen.
Let's see if I'm getting any more accusations of delusion.
So, Cy, I want the chat has brought up the
Yes.
potential Jonathan Kuminga trade.
What are they saying?
And just that at this time that there will be rumors, it'll cloud the team.
Maybe.
I actually think it's gonna be a trade that doesn't involve him, because if they're 500, there's gonna be another panic trade, just like there were 2 last year. This front office has been moved by emotions, so 2 panic trades. There's gonna be a panic trade this year, and I don't think it's gonna be involved Kuminga. Like, it's gonna be bad. So the future is not going to be traded for another guard, basically, to just be played at small forward. Like, it's gonna be a weird moment. Like, anyway. So
the people in the chat are saying I'm being delusional. Like, is that because I'm being too positive and they think the Warriors are going to be worse than this? Is that what you're saying? I guess. Anyways, okay. I'm curious to know, for the people that are saying I'm delusional, it's like, why? Like, do you think the personnel is not as good? Are you just doubling down on what Armando, and to a certain extent I'm saying as well, with the concern of Steve Kerr and how they use them? Like, Frank B's laughing, but why? Like, just at least write it down. Like, what do you think is off base here? Is it the coaching? Is it aging? Like, do you think the team is too old? Because on paper they are literally, at least I saw a report that said this, I think from ESPN, that they are the oldest team in the NBA. I'm just curious to know. So mentally is saying size will be an issue. Frank B is saying, again, yes, but yes to what? What's your concern? Split had 77 saying that Kuminga should pull a Wilt Chamberlain, take 0 shots. Oh, Wilt didn't take 0 shots, and just defend, pass, rebound, show other GMs he can buy in. That's not an entirely accurate picture you painted of Wilt. Yes, Wilt one season led the NBA in assists, but he was also still putting up points. That is crazy. Side note.
Can I say something about that?
Please, of course.
Steve Kerr is actually wrong that they need that 4th position in the starting lineup to just defend, pass, rebound. So there's a reason why Podjanski in that 4th gets so many shots. It's because they leave that 4th slot open. That's like, if you want to talk ball, like, what Kerr's saying to you is not talking ball. Like, what is actually going on in the court is they need that slot, that 4th player, to effing get it in, to be a threat, to be someone that the defense has to worry about. That is what they actually need to, and that's why I keep saying they need to play 30 minutes together, the top 5 best players on the team and highest paid players. So it's not Podjenski just rebounding in defense. No. He's got to hit 43, 45% from 3 to be, for this team to get to that record, in my opinion, that you're talking about, Sai.
And Frank B now finally specifying in the chat why he thinks I'm off base, adding size, fair. Injuries, we'll see. And again, Jimmy Butler already is expected to miss the preseason opener because of an ankle issue. Not official, but that is out there right now. Splithead 77 adding that Wilt, hold on, wrong chat. That he thinks or she thinks Wilt had a 0-shot game. I don't know. I don't think he had a 0 field goal attempt game, though. I could be wrong on that as well. Kino Valentino, adding great name, saying Steve Kerr is going to sabotage this roster just like he has every year since the 22.
So can we talk about the injury thing again?
Please.
Like, okay. So we got, it's not just about age. Like, look at the history of these players. Like, we're one hamstring away from this going south. Like,
True.
We're one Draymond Green mysterious calf lower left L5 lumbar spasm from this going south.
You're right, which is why the minutes are important, Armando. Like, Kerr's usage is vital, right?
Like, what's actually the plan if Curry goes down for 20 games? Seriously, what is actually the plan?
I think the plan is, and I'm not making this up, this is based off literal attributions from both Dunleavy Jr. and Steve Kerr. The plan, I believe, and it would make sense, is to turn things over to Jonathan Kuminga. I really do think that's the plan. Yep. And I like that plan personally. But do you not think that's the plan? Do you not like the plan? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't like it in the sense that there's no offense. They're not in the lab this summer tweaking an offense to make that a successful thing. Like, when in what reality is it just, okay, go out and make it work, JK. Now you're the star. Like, now we don't need to like prepare the appropriate offense. It's going to be just like what happened in Minnesota, where it ends up Podjenski pick and roll at 5 seconds left in the shot clock, because it's not being prepared that way.
Correct. You're right. With one notable exception from that team last year, though, this Warriors team has way more depth. I think this Warriors team is much better prepared to handle an extended absence from a Stephen Curry, from a Draymond Green. I like last year when Steph went down, you had Kuminga in that very peculiar position of being DNP'd, getting spot minutes, and then suddenly expected to show up, right? And I think that was his defining moment of his career. Like, if Kuminga had not stepped up in that Minnesota series, putting in games of 30 points, 25 points, like, I think he would have been done. I think the Warriors would have literally just grossly underpaid him. He would have no leverage, or they would have traded him. That was a very fork in the road defining moment for Jonathan Kuminga, and he passed. He proved that he can just literally go from playing 0 minutes to suddenly being the number one option. But you look at those around him. First of all, Draymond Green, the stereotype seems to, for the most part, be true that when Stephen Curry's not playing, Draymond wilts and borderline vanishes. That's a sad reality of things. And unfortunately, under your premise, this would likely happen again. But you have Al Horford now. I personally love Guy Santos. What I've seen from Quentin Poe so far, he is much bigger than he was a year ago. So I'm hoping he can be more of an impact player. I love Moses Moody, and I think this could be a breakout year for him as well. So I like the depth. Seth Curry, his brother. We're forgetting he's on the team now. Like, he could. I really like this team's ability to adjust if one of their core players gets hurt. That's just me, though. I could be wrong. It's just a prediction. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see.
And TG proving that I can never make everybody happy because either I'm too negative and I'm hating on this team too much.
But
And then when I'm feeling good and optimistic, people are saying I should be better than this. I can never win. And that's okay. It's okay.
I like TJ's earlier comment at 7:43. That's a nice one. That's a very pleasant comment. You should highlight that one.
From Twin?
From TG.
Oh, here. So TG writes, this Armando guy. I didn't see this, Armando. I apologize. I'll read it out loud. This Armando guy is so smug and thinks he is so smart. He has never played hoops higher than JV level in high school. Have another drink, loser. TG, come on, man. There's no need for the name calling. Hey, come on, brother. Like, what's going on here? Armando, do you have a response to that? And would you like me to put this person in timeout so they could think about their poor choice of words?
Man, I'm a person too, dude. Just a person like you. I would never call you a loser because of your basketball opinion.
Yeah, there's no need for that. TG, you're in timeout. What that means is you can come back in like 5 minutes. Just be a little more respectful, please. All right, that's too harsh. I missed that initially, Armando. I apologize.
No, I like that. It's good. It's good.
Look, I've always said it's better for them to hate you than for them to not care. If they hate you, it means you're doing something right, and it comes with the territory of doing this. It's when people are apathetic is when you're in trouble. If they don't care, you are irrelevant, sir. So I'm at 35-15 for the Warriors record as we approach the final 32 games. Armando, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So, and until this point, so the back-to-backs are really heavy at the beginning of the season. We pointed out 3 in the first 10 games, and then it lightens up a bit. We've only had 1 per 10 games since then. So we fast forward to we left off with at Phoenix. So we start off on February 7th. It's at LA. We'll say, and again, I'm playing the probability game. I'll call that a loss. Memphis at home, a win. Spurs at home, I'll say a win. Boston at home, no Jason Tatum, I'll say a win. Denver at home, I'll say a loss. New Orleans on the road, I'll say a win. Memphis, I'll say a loss. Lakers at home, we'll say a win. Clippers at home, we'll say a win. And that's a tough stretch, by the way. So one more time, it's at Lakers, hosting Memphis, hosting San Antonio, hosting Boston, hosting the Nuggets. So that's a 4-game homestand that in no way, shape, or form is easy. They're back on the road, taking on the Pelicans and Grizzlies, back home for the Lakers and Clippers. That's your 10-game stretch. Is that 10 right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's 9. And it wraps up with at Houston. That is a gnarly 10-game stretch right there at the beginning of February. Armando, I'm so glad we're doing this exercise right now because a lot of this will stick in my head. Thank you, sir, for bringing it for deciding the subject matter of our show tonight. What is your take on this 10-game stretch? Not easy. Not easy at all.
Also, that's the All-Star break there in between Boston and Denver.
Oh.
Wait. Between San Antonio and Celtics. 11.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Yeah, so at Lakers, that's going to require all-out play. Home against Memphis, I think people are underestimating Memphis. Reasonable to disagree. San Antonio.
And I'm not either. Yeah. I think they're going to be good this year. I do.
Steph, Steph's going to be having dropping 35 a game to get through this gauntlet here. San Antonio, it's possible this is the team that drops because Wemby's injured, Mr. Thrombosis.
This time of year.
Yeah. But that's why this is the context matters, because I do think those early San Antonio games are going to be very difficult. But now we'll see. I'm a little more open to these being wins. Boston, so their context is needing to tank to try to get a draft pick. But the problem is I don't think they've done a good enough job gutting that roster because the East is so bad. Like, they're actually going to be in the playoffs at this juncture. So, and again, it's the Super Bowl when you play. They're going to bring it. So Denver's tough. Now, look, Pelicans, maybe Skinny Zion is hurt by this juncture. Maybe Jordan Poole is hurt. Maybe they're playing Kevon Looney too much. Who knows? But it is a back-to-back. So which is the game that they're going to go all out in this? Against the New Orleans or Memphis? Okay, and then 3 days later, they play the LA Lakers and the LA Clippers. Okay, Los Angeles is the trap region. Okay, like this is just going to make it more difficult. Okay, and then 3 days later, another, they got some time off, but it's Houston.
Yeah,
Houston is
not easy.
Yep. 2 days later, Oklahoma. So this is a below 500 stretch for me.
This is, I feel like it's not even close. I don't think it's a coincidence either that all those nationally televised games are lined up during this stretch. This is brutal. And the All-Star game is in the middle of it. So at LA, and again, this is not going to be a 7-3 stretch, Armando, and you could give your own record as well in terms of predictions, but I'm entering this 35-15 based off an optimistic prediction, if you will. At LA, I'm going to call a loss. At Memphis, I'm going to call a win. I'm sorry, home versus Memphis, I'm going to call a win. I'll be optimistic and say the Spurs at home, they can get a win there, and I think they can beat Boston at home. I'm going to call every Denver game a loss. If the Warriors surprise me for any of these, awesome. But that Denver Nuggets team is stacked, like way better than they were a year ago. At New Orleans, I'm going to call that a win. At Memphis, I'm not going to say the Warriors will win every Memphis game, so I'll call that a loss.
Back to back,
and it's a back to back. There could be worse back-to-backs than that, though. So that's a little relieving. But that's
what I'm saying. This is a easy teams, quote unquote, but it's a back-to-back. So that means we're not playing our guys. So
that's fair. Yeah. And then home against LA and LA, I'm going to call a split. I think they can win one of those two. I'm not going to say they're going to win both. And then at Houston, and I'm not going to call that a win. So 5-5 is what I have. Let me just confirm that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-5 is what I have for their record in this stretch, optimistically. So 40-20 is now their record through 60 games. Your thoughts?
4-20. Okay. Wait, what'd you say?
According to what this exercise we're doing, which is not scientific, it's not. Don't take this seriously. We're just having fun here. But 40-20 is the predicted record through 60 games.
Okay, so all right, this is good. This is good for me to know. 40-20 if all the veterans are 100% healthy, and we are playing. They're playing in every back-to-back, and we are seeing lots of Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. They'll be 40-20 at this juncture. Okay. That's good for me to know.
Is year 5 of Kuminga and Moody the year they finally get a real run, or will they never get a real run as long as Steve Kerr is the head coach?
If they play 30 minutes, we can win the championship. We have a championship roster. Those
Agreed.
Guys if they play with the best players, it is lights out, easy street. Curry will be walking into 25 points a game, and games will be over by 3 by the third quarter. That's literally what I believe. It's okay to disagree. Yep.
No, and I totally agree with you. To me, again, the more we talk, the more I'm convinced it's all going to come down to Kerr and the minutes he distributes. And if he can do it right this year, great things I predict will happen.
Okay, so we are on a East Coast stretch here in March, right? It should be easy. It's the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
New York back-to-back with Washington. Washington's going to be terrible, but it's a back-to-back after they're in Manhattan. That's the context of that game.
And that's important context. Armando, explain to the audience, because there's going to be some folks out there who don't get it. Why is that an important thing to note?
Everybody in the chat, I urge you to take in a game at Madison Square Gardens. Like, it is well worth the money. The environment in there is electric. There is a reason why New York hasn't been that good, because it's actually hard. It's the Super Bowl when you go to play there, just like it's the Super Bowl with Steph Curry. And after that night, the teams go party. That's what happens in the history of the league. You go balls out against Manhattan to impress because it's fun. They're celebrities. And that night you get it in. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like, you get it in. So the next night in DC, we'll probably get that win, but it's gonna require another effort. You guys have seen this the last 4 years. Yep.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. TG is back. So again, TG, follow a code, an etiquette, if you will. Please be respectful. And then also following up with a Captain Obvious statement, saying that this is not the NFL. NBA teams play the same number of games against the same opponents year after year. For the most part, you are correct, sir. I don't know what the relevancy is for this discussion, but yeah, typically the NBA schedule will involve 2 games against every team in the other conference, 4 games against divisional opponents, 3 games against interconference opponents. But I think some of those interconference games will also feature 4 matchups. That's where it varies, I think, a little bit, just to round out the 82. Going back to this schedule here. So the next 10, I have the Warriors at 40-20 entering this stretch. As you mentioned, Armando, a lot of games on the East Coast. It's the Warriors will start this stretch at OKC. I think that's a easy loss. At Utah, I'm going to call it a win, even with the altitude. At home against Chicago, I'm going to call a win. At home against Minnesota, I'm going to call a win. I think they can win that legitimately. At New York, a loss. At Washington, a win. At Boston, Armando, what do you think? That's such a coin flip to me. Like safer to go win or loss in a game at the Garden.
Sai, I just think about these. I get what you're doing. Like, who are they better than? But like, to me, okay, so New York, Washington, Boston, they'll go 1-3 in this stretch. Like, they might beat New York, but that means
1-2, right?
Against New York, Washington, Boston, they'll go 1-3. That's the way I look at this. Maybe they'll beat New York, but then that's going to lead to a loss against Washington.
Right. So 1-2. You keep saying 1-3. That's 4 games, but there's only 3 games.
My bad.
So 1-2. Okay, that's fair. Okay. So we'll say the loss then at Boston. At Detroit, loss. What about at Atlanta?
Honestly, I'm always we talk, me and my cousins, like, we're always higher on Atlanta, and that is a team that we've been consistently wrong on. Like, so I really don't know. Like, Porzingis is probably not going to be here at this stretch, but like, I don't know. It's hard. That is a winnable game for sure.
And it is the second of a back-to-back too. Important to know.
Oh man, and dude, have you guys watched the Detroit game in Detroit? Man, those games are effing bloodbaths. That is the quintessential. It's the Super Bowl when Steph Curry comes to town. Like that. Michigan, the state of Michigan, is an extremely rich state. There are a lot of rich people in Michigan, and they come to the city when the Warriors are in town. Like, that arena is on fire. It has been that way. I'm watching Kobe Laker games, that even when back in the day, like, that stadium gets lit when the stars come to town. So that's why it's always hard to play there, man. Beef stew is coming for you. Like,
and Detroit's such a good team. All right, well, so this stretch, according to our my methodology of prediction, is actually the toughest. According to my math, they're going to go 4-6 in this stretch, back-to-backs, tough road games. I'm even going to say at Dallas is a loss. So the only wins I project here: at Utah, home against the Bulls, home against Minnesota, at Washington. The rest of these, we'll say, again, just playing the probability game, 4-6. So the Warriors are now 44-26 at this stretch.
Bro, look at this flight schedule, man. Like, look at the flight. Like, go back upside. Okay, Minnesota to New York the next night. Back to back down to Washington, easy flight. Back up to Boston, then over to Detroit, then back down to Atlanta, then back to the middle of the country, Dallas, and then back to New York, like every other night. Like this is gonna be rough, man.
That is agreed. That's a very rough road trip in general. That's 6-game road swing: New York, Washington, Boston, Detroit, Atlanta, Dallas. Oof. And that's going to be in March. So again, 44-26 at this point. You notice those 7-3 10-game records have vanished. It's getting harder. And we're almost at the end of our exercise. That leaves 12 final games. This is how the season's going to end.
Yes, this is the playoff push. Okay. The context of this last 10 games here, Cy, is that this league is different in 2025 than it is in 2022. And the main difference is the play-in tournament. That means every team who's the 6th, from the 5th seed down to the 10th, 11th seed are still playing hard. It removes the tanking potential of those teams. So Brooklyn and Washington, I think, are wins. Those teams are going to be tanking at that stage. That's good. So they're 2-0 right there. Those are home games. At Denver, they're going to be fighting for playoff positioning. And that's in Denver, yo. Like Denver has the context of Denver is that nobody really gets up for those games in the Mile High City. Like you have to be in playoff intensity to win a game in Denver, just because of the fatigue in the altitude. Like that's a real thing. That has always been the case there. That has always boosted Denver's regular season record. Is that we know that, we see that. San Antonio, okay, let's say I'm gonna just go on a limb and say they'll be shutting it down because Wemby is not going to be there at the end of the season. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
it depends, but that's my opinion. So I'm gonna give the Warriors a win. So now they're 3-1. Okay, Cleveland, that could be another win too, because I think Cleveland could be shutting it down right here, right? Because they could be so far up in the stadium. So now they're 4-1. That's good. Good for them. Good for them. Okay, Houston, I'm telling you, Sacramento is going to be fighting for the Warriors for that in that play-in tournament. Like they're gonna be one of those teams. Okay, Los Angeles, Sacramento, LA, same shit as last year. We lost to the Clippers. So also I had the crazy thought, like
Kuminga was DNP'd, by the way. Just important,
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they minimized him against San Antonio, and we lost.
They lost that game too.
We lost against the Spurs at this same juncture in the season when they did not have Wemby. That's what I'm saying. All these games that we think we're better than, no, I don't think so.
And real quick, TG, who came back, we now know what the source of his angst is. Writing that he's trying to be respectful, and then adding pissing on a coach that is 24-4 in 7-game playoff series with the Warriors is just a lazy take. My pushback to that is pretending Steve Kerr's responsible for that 24-4 record is a lazy take. Pretending that Kerr's responsible for that is an insult to Stephen Curry, who's the real star of all this. Again, if you think Steve Kerr and that 24-4 mark, keep in mind a lot of those series had Kevin Durant on those teams, among many insanely stacked runs, because those 4 losses have all come in these last 6 years, which is where my primary criticism comes in. Casey Jones, former head coach of the Celtics, owns 12 rings. He probably has even a better record than that over a 7-game playoff series. I don't know for sure, but the point is, you're not going to credit Casey Jones for the Celtics dynasty, both as a player and as a coach, because as a coach, he had Larry Bird, he had the Chief, he had McHale. That was a damn good team. As a player, he was second fiddle to Bill Russell. Casey Jones, I don't even know if he's in the Hall of Fame. My point is, if it's a lazy take, it's pretending the head coach is responsible for your team's success, when we've been trying to tell you from the beginning of this show that what's truly ignorant is in a players' league like the NBA thinking the coach matters that much. Steve Kerr's power is controlling player minutes and deciding who plays. And boy, has he failed at that miserably. And you could look at that directly for why Stephen Curry got injured last year in a pivotal moment. So I'm going to flip this back to you and ask you kindly, sir, stop deriding the head coach and pretending he has to do with anything that's happening on that basketball court. Stop disrespecting Stephen Curry, who is the one making things happen out there. That's my pushback on that. Go ahead. Sorry, Armando.
No. I obviously I've said it before. I've mentioned the Luke Walton factor.
And real quick, TG's adding Kerr's not responsible for one loss. Bull effing shit. When he DNP'd Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors are struggling because of that, when you bench your third leading scorer and then Stephen Curry's getting hurt because he's playing 43, 45 minutes in playoff games, you bet your ass it's Steve Kerr's fault. Why don't you shove your ignorance up your ass and stop pretending Steve Kerr's a genius, man? I'm sorry, dude. Go ahead, Armando. That's
no.
Go ahead.
I think the one thing I want to add, obviously I've said lots on this topic, but just to address I've heard this before, like TG.
And apparently I'm the one that has no clue what I'm talking about. TG, I'm going to do this for a split second, Armando, because I would love for this clown to come on the show. We're not going to invite people on because I'm tired. We got to get out of here anyways. But congrats to this troll for actually getting my attention for a second. Come on the show, TG. If you think you're some genius, if you think you know what the hell you're talking about, you already called a professor over there numerous names. Now you're accusing me of not know what I'm talking about. For the sake of entertaining this show, come on the show. I'm dying to see this person. Show your face, please, and have discourse with us so you can explain to us how Steve Kerr has not sabotaged this team the last 3 years with Anthony Lamb minutes, with Ty Jerome minutes, with Lindy Waters minutes, with Corey Joseph minutes, and with Moses Moody sitting behind Lindy Waters, with Jonathan Kuminga sitting behind Anthony Lamb, and whoever he was sitting behind last year, with Brandon Pajemski being a starting two guard, playing 35-plus minutes. That shit affects your team in a negative manner. How do you not get this, dude? And of course he's not coming on the program. I'm going to wait for this person to say one more thing so we can ban him. See, look, again, Steve Kerr D-Writer will not come on the show, but loves to be a keyboard warrior saying if Kuminga played the way Kerr wanted him to, which is what? Just sitting in a corner and waiting for corner threes? Because that's 90% of what Steve Kerr wants him to do. Anyways, go ahead. And of course, he makes excuses and then come back another time. Otherwise, for now, you're done for the night. Sorry, Armando, go ahead. We got to finish up tonight's show.
I just wanted to address TG the point when he said it's a lazy take to criticize a coach. I just want to address that part. I hear you. That's reasonable to think. I don't think you're crazy because I think 70% of Warriors fans would agree with you. And I think maybe 99.5% of NBA media would agree with you. So there's no doubt in my mind that take you're saying is something that you see as normal, that it's just lazy to have a criticism of the coach. I personally don't see it that way. I think that's what's lazy, is to think that a human being is infallible. It reeks of somebody who has never had a bad boss before. Like, like you could call me old or whatever, stupid, but like, man, there's a reason why like bad Hollywood movies get made. It's because there's a bad boss involved and nobody can say no to him. They control things. Like this happens. It's a known thing. And it's okay to criticize a coach. And I just want something for you to think about. Every other fan base on every other team in every other professional sport, the coach is the first to be criticized after 3 losses with a championship roster. Okay. They're the first. Actually, our fan base is the only one that does not criticize its coach. It's the exact reverse of what you're talking about.
It's insanity, man.
This for 4 years. Yep.
It's really like this, the sycophant nature so many have for Kerr. It's mind-blowing shit, dude. And it never stops. It never stops. It's crazy, Armando. Let's finish up the schedule. So and I apologize for interrupting your flow and letting TG, unfortunately, take up a portion of the show. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to point out about these Sacramento games. If JK does get traded to the Kings, Whoa, man. Like, this is going to be must-watch TV at the end of the season when those teams are competing for the play-in tournament and JK can play the spoiler. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's going to be great basketball. It'll be the funnest shit of my life watching these two games. Dude, like, seriously. That would be so fun if he got traded to the Kings. And then we actually got to see these competing. We got to see the go home in a body bag program versus the wing lineup that the Kings are going to throw on the court. Like, I would love to see that happen. Anyways, so that's what I have to say about this end of the season.
It's insane, man. So of this final stretch, and if our probabilities, whether they're accurate or not, Armando, I have it at 44-26, the record going into this final stretch. And this final stretch has one back-to-back. I feel like so when they say 15 back, I feel like they're hold on. I want to go back real quick.
I have them all.
Go for it. What are they?
Yeah.
How many are there? Because I haven't counted 15. I'm counting like 7 or 8. What's the actual number of back-to-backs?
The first back-to-back is Denver, Portland. So we have to beat Portland. Okay. The second one is Memphis Clippers. We got to win one of those. Next one is Phoenix and Sacramento. Okay. We have to win both. The next one after that is OKC, San Antonio. Got to beat the Spurs in that situation. Next one is Orlando, Miami. Got to win one. Back-to-back. Florida, baby. Next one after that, Toronto, Brooklyn. Bad teams. Got to win both. But it's a back-to-back. Okay, we're not playing our guys. OKC and Utah. We're going to bring it against OKC, but that means we got to win against the Jazz. It's going to be hard. Miami and Toronto after that, got to win both. New Orleans, Memphis, got to win both. Utah, Chicago, got to win both. Those are all, I just said 3 back-to-backs against bad teams. Okay, we got to win all 6 of those games. Last one, New York, Washington, and then San Antonio, Cleveland. Got to win one of those games in those last 2. So this is what I'm getting at. It's not just the idea of a back-to-back. It's that the bad teams we're playing this year are the back-to-backs. That's going to make those games harder. But even if you rely on Kuminga, it just means we're not our full roster. You know what I'm saying? And that is very concerning to me when you think about this team and the go home in a body bag program.
How many back-to-backs did you count total, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like how many back-to-backs? So, because if I'm counting correctly, it's an exorbitant amount. And I keep having to start over because it just doesn't make sense. That's 8. If I count correctly, there's 18 back-to-back games. That can't be right, though. Is it?
Well, I have 12 instances of a back-to-back instant, like not games, like
but pairs, right?
Pairs. Yeah,
12 of them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Maybe I missed some. Frank B says 15. Maybe I missed some.
Well, I read that somewhere too. See, Twin Empire is saying 15 too, but I keep going through this because the math just doesn't make sense. I'm going to do the one more time. Forgive me. We're also very late in the show, so it doesn't matter. But hold on. So October 23rd, 24th is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a nice stretch without any. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So just like you said, 12. So where does 15 come from? Because I've read that too.
Yeah, I read that too. Twin Empire.
So I don't get. Yeah, I don't get what people are trying to say here. And when I say people, I mean like reporters who.
Maybe it includes. Maybe there's the plan stuff that'll be back to back. Like I'm not exactly sure.
You mean the in-game tournament?
Yeah, because this doesn't include a lot of those
You're
games.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And maybe that's a part of it too. That could be a huge part of it. Yeah. Regardless, so 12, not including the in-game and whatever else we missed. Or in season. Thank you, Splithead 77. So going to these final games real quick. Let's just finish up here with it's already 8:15. Okay, so so where do we leave off of? So we were here. So so Wednesday, March 25th, hosting Brooklyn. So we'll go win hosting Brooklyn, win hosting Washington. I'm not giving them any wins against Denver. If they do beat Denver this year, awesome. I'll give them a win at home against San Antonio. Are we giving them a win at home against Cleveland? Like, is a split fair to ask for the Warriors, or do you think they're going to get swept in the season series?
I think you should stick to what you've been doing, which is who are they better than on paper, and give them wins.
I'm asking you because the Cavs is a tough one. I that's like such a some of these are such a toss-up. I don't,
I personally think the Cavs will be shutting it down at this stage. That's the context.
All right, so we'll say win. Okay, so we'll say win. Houston at home. I've been saying loss to all of these, so I'll give them one win at least against Houston. So that's 5. I'm always going to say they're going to beat Sac. LA at home, I'll give them a win, 7. I'll give them a win at Sac, 8, and I'm not going to give them a win at the Clippers to finish up the season. So 8-2 to finish up. So if this exercise is in any way accurate, the Warriors will finish this season with a 52-32 record based off our very scientific model. There you go.
I think I see this and I see 3 wins only. I see all losses based on everything I've been saying.
And this part is crazy as we start to wrap it up. AC asking or writing, did you hear that Ime Udoka, the head coach of the Houston Rockets, is thinking of playing Kevin Durant at the 2?
Nice.
Exactly. Like why? And then Steve Kerr, his response is, I'm ahead of the curve. I'm going to play GP2 at the 4. Like,
dude, in what world is Jonathan Kuminga a power forward? What world is Jimmy Butler a power forward? Dude, Al Horford played power forward for the Celtics last year. He cannot be on the floor as a center. Watch Al Horford in the playoffs. Dude, like he can't rebound like that. He doesn't have the legs for it. Like,
I know your cousin really pointed that out, right?
That's like, I wish our streaming was on, because that would be the first game we'd stream was the Knicks series Celtics, like just to show Warriors. Like he had to be on the floor with a massive, they got good centers on the Celtics. Like, honestly, like, and everybody, I heard the national media, this, Windy, they were talking about Al Horford's still a great defender. Nate Duncan and John Hollinger. John Hollinger is always wrong, by the way.
And those two, by the way, if you want to talk about people whose opinions I have virtually zero respect for in the NBA media landscape, those two names are right.
You know me, I listen to it all just to understand.
Yeah.
And they said, John Hollinger said, and I quote, at 39 years old, Al Horford can switch. This is the epitome of not watching games in context. Like they quote the Laker game where the Lakers went at him 100 times and he did great stops and it was all good. Like that was 2 contexts. Arrested Al Horford, who was chilling in the regular season in the East Coast, and a player who played with wings. That means you're able to take risks and sell out because you have guys behind you, because you're playing with wings. Do you really think Al Horford at center is going to be able to do that with playing with 3 guards? I don't think so. So he might be able to do, it's going to look good the first 10 games. Like I said, I agreed with the 7-3, but it's going to come back. The dude is it would be fine if we signed him on a minimum and he was like there to support TJD, is all good practice, just the Kevon Looney role, spot 8 to 10 minutes a game. I would be so down for that. But this is the guy that is supposed to unlock us. If you think that, and they do, they really did not look at the playoffs last year. So that's
you're right. And so again, 52 and 30. I said 52 and 32. That's 84 games. So 52 and 30 is my prediction for this coming season, give or take a few games. But Armando, if I'm coming to any conclusion out of our exercise tonight, which took 2 hours and 24 minutes, Jesus Christ, I did not realize how long we were going until just now. Yeah, I will give zero guarantees to the audience that I will not crash out if we go over 2 hours and someone's pushing my buttons in the audience. Zero guarantees. I will not make any promises to you folks. If we're past 2 hours and you decide to come at me with ignorance in the chat, I'm going to lose my voice and lose my shit. Sorry, I'm a human being. With all that said, if there's anything that we got from this exercise, it's that Steve Kerr had better realize he needs to play his younger players. They're screwed otherwise. Look, we went through this that schedule, the amount of road trips, the amount of even though they have 12 back-to-backs that we counted, and there's apparently 3 more somewhere that we missed. But nonetheless, there's also a lot of days off that are not going to really feel like a day off because they're traveling sometimes cross country. Some of these back-to-backs involve cross-country trips. Dude, this is like the Warriors are an old-ass team. Kerr's got to play these young guys, man. And oh my God. So my optimism has faded a little bit. That's what this exercise did.
But I think it's really good exercise because what was the best case scenario, Steve?
Well, I got 52 and 30 is what we came up with. And look, I think we were fair in the wins and losses we were giving out. You know, maybe they might be even a little better. They also might be a little worse. We'll see. But
the way I see what you did, the 50 and what is it?
52 and 30.
Okay. That is best case scenario. Veterans never miss a single game. And they miss some games, and then JK and Moody are played properly, and they just pick up the slack. And then it's all copacetic. That's the best case scenario. I think there's a reason Vegas has them that low. Like it ain't gonna go that way. So I'm more towards 500. My cousin thinks it's going to be actually worse. Ooh. By the time they get to the trade deadline, they're going to be trying to trade everybody but JK. Remember, Mike Dunleavy said this is only going to get a 1-year thing. I think there's a reason Steve Kerr is not signed. Everybody thinks it's because Steve Kerr chose that. I don't think so.
Armando, let's save that conversation for another show, just because we've already gone so long. But I'm saying that's a topic for like its own episode. Yeah. What happens if the Warriors have a bad start, right? Like, what if the Warriors start the season like 7-20? Like, and everyone's talking about, they're going to trade Kuminga at the trade deadline. You're right. If the Warriors have an awful start to the season, and that awful start coincides with the veterans getting minutes, meaning the impetus, the blame is on them, you're right. There's going to be a fire sale. And it's not going to involve Jonathan Kuminga. It's going to involve Jimmy Butler. It's going to involve Hal Horford. It's going to involve maybe even like players like DeAnthony Melton. That's a worst case scenario. But and Twin Empire is saying buy Dre. You might even be right there.
Draymond will be the scapegoat. Ain't nobody trading for Jimmy Butler. So I've been saying this since the summer. Is Jimmy Butler's buyout stretch provision going to be bigger than Jonathan Kuminga's contract? That's the day light years died. So,
but I'll end on this positive note, man. Last year, the Warriors won 48 games. All right, 48, and I just don't. Even though they're a year older this year, I don't think they're a worse team than they were a year ago. And that's why I'm optimistic primarily. Okay. They want, and look, I know Steph's turning 38. He's still Steph. He's still someone who, if you're regular Golden Days or you watch this show routinely, you know how I roll by now. I can be hard to persuade. I can be skeptical, but when it comes to Stephen Curry, dude, he epitomizes like what's the word the younger generation uses a lot these days? Aura, right? To represent someone that is just really special. Dude, any active player's aura shine brighter than Steph's? hell to the no, I think. He's so special, dude. Like in 2021, the summer of 2021, when I predicted that the Warriors were going to win the championship, and I was boldly confident in that, I had no hesitation the whole season. I just knew it, largely because the landscape, you see the other teams, and no one was intimidating enough, threatening enough. But B, more importantly, you still had Stephen Curry at the peak of his powers, and everyone just loves to doubt this guy. I don't know if it's like if his size is a huge reason for that. Just the optics, the aesthetics of a 6'3" guard is difficult for people to kind of grasp and comprehend as being a game-changing, dominant player, but that's who he is. And I know, again, he's 37 going on 38, but if anyone can pull off a magical season this year, it's him. It's Steph. Like all these people who rile us up with the Steve Kerr comments. Steve Kerr has looked good for 10 plus years because of Steph. And I just can't doubt this guy. If there's any lesson I've learned, don't doubt Stephen Curry. Like, why would you? He's never given anybody a reason to count him out. And I'm not going to count him out again. As long as he stays on that court and he's healthy, I have the utmost faith that Stephen Curry, as long as his minutes are managed and as long as these other veterans' minutes are managed appropriately, I feel great about this Warriors team, man. Any final thoughts from you, sir, as we're about to call it a night?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I disagree. I think that's good. I think Steph is a top 5 player of all time. I think he has not been able to do what you just said in the last 3 years. I think we've gone home in a body bag for 3 straight years, and I don't see. I understand why that would be the case, but it's good that we're disagreeing. And yes, chat, I do Young West. I agree with you. JK's 22, and earlier I talked about how dribbling improves. This is how we get to 50+ wins. That is the key, is Jonathan Kuminga playing 30+ minutes with the best players, taking those pods minutes. That is how we get there. It's a championship roster. So that's what I'm looking at. Winner, they might be 7-3 the first 10 games, and I've explained this to you guys. That's what I'm looking at. It doesn't matter the win-loss record for me. It's how many minutes is Pods getting, and how well is he, how many minutes and at what position, and how many minutes is Jonathan Kuminga getting with the best players on the court. That's the only thing I'm looking at, win or loss, first 10 games of the season.
And Devil in Limbo in the chat, who at the very beginning of the show was thinking that it was too optimistic, if I remember correctly, saying Kuminga's the only player in the squad that can attack the basket. I don't know. I'd also include Jimmy, but come on, he's old as F. Look, do not forget that for all the criticism that I levy on Steve Kerr, none of that criticism involves his scheme, his vision of the court, and the play calling, even though the ATOs have even started to look a little flawed in recent years. But he knows Steve Kerr has implemented a system that is fantastic. But the personnel choices is where it's been lacking for a number of years now. That system is superb. And even with a team that's lacking in athleticism, like Devil in Limbo was saying right there, you have such a pass-heavy offense and the motion offense that makes life very difficult for defenders, whether or not you have athleticism out there to make life easier scoring buckets. That ball is moving a lot. This team routinely leads the NBA in assists for a damn good reason. And as long as these veterans don't get hurt, and the key to them not getting hurt is giving the young guys a real run, they're going to look good this year, man. I feel really good about it. It's going to come down to whether or not, preservation with these veterans is key. Like, is Steph going to be upright? Is Draymond going to be upright? Jimmy Butler, who already has an ankle injury, is he going to be upright? Is Al Horford going to be upright? And if you can keep them upright come playoff time and develop a system where you actually trust your young players to have a big role, I'm feeling damn good about this team. I really am. But if Steve Kerr does what he did last year with screwy DNPs, with 13, 14-man rotations that are nonsensical and minute distribution that is nonsensical, yeah, this could be a long year. But I also think you're right, Armando, that if they don't have a good start, we could see some moves at the trade deadline, and it's not going to involve Kuminga. It's going to involve veterans. That's it. Let's save that for next week, because I feel like we could do a whole show just talking about like what could happen if
We'll get there.
yeah, if they age like right before our eyes, right? Which is possible. I mean, like think about like there are certain teams that like that's happened, right? Where teams just got old like overnight, and we all saw it, and it was like sad. Like I think of the Detroit Pistons, for example, right? The year after they won their second championship, they got old, and 2 years later they were cooked. The Lakers, when their dynasty in the 80s ended, and you saw them at the beginning of the 90s, like the Chicago Bulls started their dynasty beating the Lakers handily because the Lakers aged right before our eyes. Spurs aged right before our eyes, but they had a transition in place for a brief moment with Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge to keep things afloat for a brief time there. So you didn't see the aging happen right in front of you. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers, we saw that in the early mid 2010s, and right before our eyes just faded into irrelevancy. It could happen. And that's what aging does. Father Time is undefeated, clearly, but we shall see, man. It's going to be interesting. Faux show. I think that we're done. Any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, the plan is for Steph Curry to hit 35 a night for 82 games. So.
and Evanistic's adding, love you, but Steve Kerr's system is behind the curve. Now, you might be right. Again, I'm trying to be hopeful and optimistic here. Who knows? Armando, people can follow you on Threads at Mando_man10. Any big plans for the weekend? It is Friday night. We're bubbling.
I'm chilling, man. Gonna go to on Sunday the Alameda Antique Fair. Gonna look for some nice furniture and jewelry. Check that out, guys.
Good stuff. All right. Well, enjoy. And thanks to everyone for joining us for a long ass show. Look at that. Still got 72 people hanging around. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on a Friday night. A side note, it's been a long time since I've been excited about the 49ers. I know this is not a football show, and I do not consume football enough to pretend I'm an expert, but sign me up for the Mac Jones era. I'm so ready for that guy to take over as a starting QB. His answer last night was classy and professional in terms of the topic of him taking over as the starting role. He reminded everyone Brock Purdy is the starter, but make no mistake, Mac Jones will be starting that next game, and it's his job to lose, I think, as of right now, meaning if Mac Jones keeps kicking ass like he's been doing, I don't know if Brock Purdy comes back. But that's for a whole other show. We shall see. I love me some Mac Jones. Have fun at the car show, dude. I've never been to a car show. Like, do you just go? Is a car show an excuse just to get effed up and party? Or is there like a real good reason? Is there like a value in seeing all these like unique vehicles? Like what's the joy there? What's the activity level there for you?
It's just like anything. It's a culture, people. It's fun seeing people get hyped about a passion. It's really good. And you geek out. It's just like geeking out about anything. On the Niners, I have to take a knee until Kaepernick comes back. So
we're done. We are done. Thanks everybody. Back soon. Thanks Armando. Bye-bye.